Happy New Month. Welcome to the 8th month of the year. It's a brand new month. It's the month of August. We're excited to be here again, bringing you the biggest stories around the country in the political space and having you also share your thoughts with us when we open the phone lines. Very good morning to you. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. We're streaming live on YouTube, and my name is Olive Emodi.
And my name is Joe Hansen, welcoming you to another day on Breakfast Central. Well, it's just a duo today, the trio. Well, would it be possible because one man has got to do what Batman does, which is try to save Gotham City. In this case, try to save Lagos City in his way. But then again, welcome you to the show. There's a lot to talk about. Most importantly, take a look at us as your August visitors because it's August 1st. So it feels good
dry jokes. That was a good one.
To be back.
August visitor.
Well, say no more.
I should actually think of friends I haven't seen in such a long time and offer to visit them. And like, please be onto this house. It is your favorite August visitor.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
because
when last did I see you? You know,
August visitor visiting in August.
That's good idea. I think I'll add that to my list of to-do list for the month of August. But then again, conversations are continuing. Yesterday, we did a little analysis from the newspapers to the drawing board to try and merge and see what everyone has inside concerning what priorities the government is focused on. However, one of it was 2027. And guess what? The stories are still on. Just yesterday, you did have the son of a former governor, Kaduna State governor, who happens to have been banished from the SDP and now is trying to pitch his tent with the ADC, come out on X to say, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has a good chance to actually win the elections, but he was pointing fingers at Mr. Peter.
He not say he has a good chance. So he said the time he had a better chance would have been 2019 elections. But that right now, the person who has the best chance is Peter Obi.
And all he needs is just to sandwich him with a strong northern
person to sort of consolidate the northern votes.
And then social media went on to try and see how they can recreate pictures and posters of both Mr. Peter Gregory and his father, Nasiru Bala, and it's been a drama ever since then. But let's look at that because that's part of our wake-up conversations this morning. I don't know what you think, but I'm starting to see that we may have lost it when we start focusing on elections too early.
I think we don't have a choice. Unfortunately, that's the hand that we've been dealt, and we must play that card. You can't resist it. The political class have started to make plans and preparations for 2027. So we, the citizenry, must as well start to make plans for 2027, whether we like it or not. But anyway, we'll come back to talk about what we think about it. But let's show you the tweet that Bashir El-Rufai had put up. He says, Atiku is a force to be reckoned with. He also feels the stars have finally aligned in his favor. And although 2019 is thought to have been his best shot, this may be one of those moments meets the man. However, the sheer force of Obi's numbers and cult-like followership brings a challenge. His appeal across the youth and this younger generation is one profound aspect of his leverage. Obi, as a flag bearer with a strong northern candidate, will defeat Pablo on election day before our dear mother of the nation. Please, who is he referring to as Pablo? I have no idea who he's speaking about. Until Remy finishes his breakfast around 12 noon. Anyway, that being said, that's obviously this northern person he's probably pitching would be his father. And you cannot deny the cult-like followership of Peter Obi. Peter Obi has a fan base that's spread across the board. And, you know, he has a fan base that's not just with the older generation, but also the younger generation. Yeah. The obedience movement is one that really feels like some form of a cult-like followership. And yes, he does have a strong chance. Whether or not that strong chance will be enough for him to win the elections is another thing to decide, because having the people who go to the polls, and it's not just the determining factor, as we've come to see in Nigerian elections, there are other factors that come to bear when you look at the elections in Nigeria. There's INEC. INEC has a role to play in determining the freeness and the fairness of the election. There's also the issue of electoral violence and ensuring that thugs are not manipulated to interfere with the process. And then there's also even being able to ensure that materials get there on time, that there's a real-time transmission of results. So there's several factors, but you cannot deny the strength of the obedience movement. Let's take the reactions of Nigerians to this tweet by Bashir El-Rufai. And our first reaction this morning from X says, Atiku has been contesting for the presidency since the days of Nokia 3310. And if 2019 was his best shot,
that is right.
2027 is simply a farewell tour. The so-called stars aligning doesn't change the fact that Nigerians have consistently rejected him at the polls. The electorate is tired of recycled politicians with no clear legacy beyond political maneuvering. As for Peter Obi, yes, his online fandom is loud, but elections are not won on hashtags and echo chambers. Obi's cult-like following has yet to translate to actual political structure or widespread national machinery. A strong Northern VP, please spare us. Northern politics doesn't bend to Twitter trends. The North votes strategically, not emotionally, and they don't follow noise. They follow interest. This is very, very true.
Very true.
Pablo, as we call him, has the structure, has incumbency, and most importantly, has the grassroots presence from Lagos to Lokoja to Lafia. So while Obi's supporters are trending hashtag Take Back Nigeria, and Atiku is still chasing a legacy, APC is building bridges, consolidating power, and preparing to win again. And about Auntie Remi, she'll probably be done with her morning prayers and already sending congratulatory texts to them all, including the Kaduna genocide player. Oof. Now, wow. Anyway, these are the responses. This one says, Obi will be the flag bearer. El Rufai will not be on the ticket. The strong northern candidate will be someone else. That is basically tell him, guy, calm down. Your dad is not up for argument.
Exactly, indirectly.
With Obi as flag bearer with a strong northern candidate makes the reigning job just one. Defend the votes, that's all. It will be a mass movement. Don't bother about campaign. Just start thinking about how to collect Obi's votes. Stop APC from voter suppression or writing results with thugs and police rigging, etc. That's all. I think it was as if this person heard what I said. You know, the explanation I just gave, that's really what it was.
Yeah, the thugs and all that.
Exactly, and the other factors that win elections.
All right, Vlad the Impala. I don't know if it's Impala I wanted to remember, Impala.
Impala.
Okay, it says, it's either Peter Obi and Nasir El-Rufai or Peter Obi and Aminu Tambuwal with Abubakar Atiku backing either one of the combinations strongly, or we all are stuck.
Now, wow.
With, I don't know who they call Pablo,
I have
by
no
the
idea
way.
too.
With Pablo. Who is Pablo? That has divided this nation along ethnic tribal lines. I don't know who they're talking about, but that's what the tweet says. I don't know what they say. But Vlad the Impala says, but let's come back and look at this clearly. This conversation has risen or has caused a lot of, I'd say, stir online, on X. And if you look at it truly, Olive, who sits in the position as the strong northern candidate to a Peter Obi? That's the conversation everybody is having. So many have pointed their fingers to one place. And if this was the pawn and you're about to move it very closely to what we're discussing now, many have said the Kwankwasia. I was about to mention that Kwankwasia has such a strong moves influence with an obedient. It's going to be obedient Kwankwasia. That will be the end. Obikwasia. And I saw someone say that yesterday. He said, listen, if you get a Kwankwasia movement and then you get Obi and then you merge it, that's going to give APC sleepless nights. Actually. I don't know about that though. It will, because it looks, whether or not we admit very strong though. The APC can bicker all they want and call the ADC all sorts of names, political IDPs and what have you. Yeah. But the truth is that the ADC is keeping the APC on its toes. They're uncomfortable with what they're seeing that these big political figures who each have had or still have their individual interests have decided to come together with the sole priority to topple the APCs. While we're seeing these last-minute desperate moves to assert themselves and let people know this is what we are doing, this is what we've been able to achieve. So I do believe that the APC is a bit, maybe not completely threatened, but they're definitely moved by what the ADC is doing. So if you then bring a Kwankwaso with an Obi together, that would be a lethal combination. Because Obi has a lot of influence here. You know, he has backing of young people, he has backing of the older people. And yes, he does have some support in the north. But Kwankwaso has sort of established himself in the north as a force, right? When former President Muhammadu Buhari passed, many people speculated that the reason why Alhaji Atiku Abubakar announced his resignation from the PDP a day after the mourning had officially begun, or a day after the announcement of his passing had been made, was because that was a way for him to consolidate the followers, his CPC followers in the north. Whether or not that was a successful move, we do not know. These are all speculations, right? We never can
tell if this eventually amounted into him being able to garner that level of influence. Because whether we like it or not, former President Muhammad Buhari had supporters while he was alive, and maybe he still has some supporters.
That's right. And when the former late president died, the question was who is going to take the 12 million votes that he had promised to bring, especially the 12 million votes that he had promised. And some have said that it could have been that he left with the 12 million votes. So there's a struggle between who should actually have that 12 million votes within the northern candidates in which we're looking at. But it makes a very interesting conversation in between, whether we like it or not. And it's a conversation that we would continue to look at in as much as we have said here on Breakfast Central that the media is not really the entire, I'd say, the body or the organ that's pushing 2027 conversations. It's actually what we see from the political parties. Because then again, if the current administration is not pushing 2027, then I think they should have come out with a statement and say, hey, listen, everybody stop. Please stop. We will no longer condone any presence of billboards, posters, celebrations, or even talk to the governors and tell them, listen, I understand that, because just 2 days ago, a governor came out and said, listen, everybody, don't vote for any other person, vote for the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's going for a second term. Let's balance equations. Let's ensure that he completes his term. And people were like, excuse me.
Under the Constitution, his tenure is 4 years.
Excuse me?
Everybody else has the
power. Why are you trying
to run?
Muscle people into a corner? So these are the reasons. So when people say, oh, the media, it's not the media that's pushing 2027. No, not at all. You have the politicians who are campaigning already.
The media is just reporting what is happening. We amplify the stories that are being told.
That's it.
If it's positive reality, we amplify it. If it's a negative reality, we report what we see. So if we don't see a number of these moves happening, there'll be nothing in that light to report. But anyway, whether we like it or not, 2027 is upon us. And as the political class is making their move, we hope that you as viewers are also making your moves, are making your plans, deciding to be involved in the process, maybe deciding to join a political party. The truth is, regardless of how much change you want to see in the country, we run a system that has to work with political parties, not your individual excellence, right? If not, if it was just that, there are many individuals, technocrats, who have such sterling records. But unfortunately, if you do not get the support of a political party, you haven't started your journey. So if you want to make a change, maybe the first step will be to associate or align yourself with a political party and start to find ways to make the changes from the inside as opposed to staying on the outside and just speaking about it. But let's go outside now. We've talked about what's happening.
Because somebody's outside.
Yeah, something is
in the
outside.
cold.
And it would seem that the person is outside because her husband may have stepped outside. Or somebody is trying to make out. It's a very interesting
Friday
video.
moves.
Today is Friday, so let's just soften it. Joe, you want to introduce?
Yeah, let's take something light. So there's a video that's also making the rounds on social media. It's got to do with a married woman who, in other words, abroad, they're outside of the country, and she caught a mistress who... An alleged mistress who unknowingly to her was chatting with her husband, telling him that she's ready to go. She's good to go because she was all dressed up and set and good to go. But unfortunately for her, she didn't know that the person she was chatting with wasn't the husband because the wife had taken over the phone. So she kept communicating and telling her, okay, come outside and so on until they eventually met. And she confronted her and told her, why are you doing this?
A father of three children. A father of three children. Did he not tell you he's a married man?
And the mistress was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, and so on. So let's take a look. The reactions are what got me cracking, most importanly.
Okay, I'm interested in seeing what the reactions are.
All right. Let's see. I don't know if we'll have that video, by the way.
They follow my husband in chat. He no say, now my phone. I deal with the phone since Oga don't sleep. He go meeting, go church. Sister, I won't see you. I won't see you. Good evening, my dear. How are you? Come this way. Come this way. This is my neighborhood. I really don't want to shout. Because since I went to Nigeria, you've been coming to my matrimonial home to sleep. I even hear say my husband changed your car. They walk while I fish and put everything. They chat when they chat this morning. I meet them with phone. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? I won't. It's just for weakness so that I'll publish you. Just to teach you a lesson. You know, say all the whole chat when the chat says, make it come, the hotel when I want go, the club when I want go, waiting go tell me, everything, the phone there with me. Since he come for church, since he don't eat, he don't tire, they sleep. They go do you.
I don't understand.
They go do you as a woman. They go do you.
You don't know who they talk about.
You dress a man will get 3 boys for house as children. A family man. He not tell you say him don't marry. He not tell you. This thing what they do so side chick, they go do you.
Mama, me, I don't know who they talk about.
They go do you. You leave your own husband. You come to a single mother. They follow another person's husband. They go do you. Now Europe, they will not fit take laws into our hands. If we dey Nigeria, you sure say this thing you go succeed.
Mama, who you dey talk about? I don't know who you dey talk about.
Not be you dey date Papa Christian.
Well, I do, Papa Christian.
Do you want to speak?
No. The only thing I want to say, she said, we did Europe, I can't take laws into my hands. If not Nigeria, if you try this one.
If I still try am.
Oh, she's trying.
If I even do pass like
Nigeria.
that. If I do pass like that.
Ah.
Do you want to speak up for Papa?
No, I can't speak up. At
This
this
is your
juncture,
agenda now.
At this juncture, I don't hang.
Do you think there's a different way this could have been handled?
There's what?
A different way that this could have been handled?
So I always say you cannot control how the individual would react to it. So I can't say she should have done it this way, should have done it that way. But some people will say this is the best way. This is the best way, because others will say, no, you don't have to deal with the outsider. It's the person inside that has the problem, so you deal with the insider. But with the woman's tone of voice, you could tell that she's
in pain, angry.
Action. She's an action, woman. So that's why she went all out.
Okay, I have 2 perspectives to this, but let's take other people's reactions. Then, or do I share mine first?
Let's see theirs. Then
Okay.
we'll now ensure that we blend it with yours.
All right,
Hopefully,
no
we have
problem.
a few reactions to take. Always fighting the wrong person. If you chase this one and your husband finds another one, waiting you go do.
Mike Tyson. Valid question. You be Mike Tyson. This one says, but some men are useless, because it beats my imagination how you have a wife and be chasing other women. I honestly don't get it. What in God's name are you looking for? Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, say that I can empathize with her.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because I've not been in a position where I'm married and my husband is cheating on me, and I pray never to be in that position. It's not something anybody wants. So just like you said earlier, sometimes you can't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. So I can empathize with her pain of feeling the betrayal, or feeling like this person, you are conniving with my husband to cheat me. Because she talked about having established the husband and the money that he's earning from that job that she established him with. He used it to change her car. So there's so many things. Because the job where I set for him or something like that. Say my husband changed your car. So I empathize with her, and I think that is just a very unfortunate place to be in, where you have to fight for your marriage. But I can also understand the first tweet we took where the person says that you're fighting the outsider. That outsider is not a part of your marriage and did not make a commitment to be together with you for better, for worse. The person who took the vow is the person that you left at home, And I'm not saying this in any way to condemn or judge her, because the truth is it's easier said than done. Easier said than done, right? So as I'm saying this, I'm saying that I'm not saying this in any way to judge her, because I can empathize with what she's going through. It must really hurt. And sometimes when we're hurt, we do things that we probably did not plan for.
True.
Right. But again, it goes back to the man who hasn't been able to draw boundaries and who has disrespected his partner. The second angle to this is, I wish that as a society we will leave shame with the rightful person who should be ashamed. And I'll tell you what I mean.
What do you mean?
When a man cheats on his wife, or when a woman cheats on her husband, we make it about the partner and say things like, oh, the husband is embarrassing his wife. Look at how he's embarrassing his wife outside. And how can you be doing this, embarrassing your partner? I wish we'd actually appropriate shame rightfully to say the man is embarrassing himself, or the woman who cheated is embarrassing herself, and make people feel like, again, it goes back to the conversation we had last week about our moral compass as a society being broken. Certain things are accepted. Certain things feel normal. Some people come and argue with you that, are we not our traditional religion did not allow for polygamy?
Yes.
When you were marrying the woman, did you tell her that you were going to explore polygamy, or is it something that you sprung up on her? Because if you knew that you're somebody, and for me, it's know yourself. If you're somebody that says it's too hard to keep to one woman. I cannot do that for the rest of my life.
Stay single.
Then either you choose to stay single, or if you are meeting someone, communicate to them that this is who I am. I cannot stay with one person for the rest of my life. I will explore several partners. Is that something you are okay with? Because there are people, unfortunately, the world is becoming very urban, very modern, very Western.
Yeah.
And people would say, oh yeah, there are people in marriages where, say, we heard of entanglement with a certain family. That was when entanglement became a word. There are people in open marriages. I do not endorse it. I do not support that because I have a picture of what marriage should be.
Should look like.
And it's from the Bible because I'm a Christian. But I mean, you're probably the one who can speak better to this because you are the married person between the both of us.
For me, when I saw the story, I just said, you know what? It's a Friday. It's good to look at the human angle stories of what people are going through. Not every time government, or what's really happening. But that's to show that there's no respect, there are no boundaries of these actions. That's why you have people who are abroad now in that video saying, listen, if it were in Nigeria, it doesn't have to do with countries. It can happen anywhere, outside, everywhere, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what we've seen. But another reason why this video is also key for us on Breakfast is to look at the fact that aside from the government, there are other issues that are affecting Nigerians. That's outside food, clothing, security. Now, this is a different type of security. You have to now secure your family. After you've
Wow, Jonathan. Wow.
That's exactly what that is. It's sad. We're not. I mean, it's not something to laugh at, as it were. But I feel for her because she had to secure her family, move them abroad, from the challenges, and now she has to get there and now secure her family again. It's like there's no rest. It's tough.
I mean, I just feel sad. I feel sad. I think nobody deserves that. Nobody who voluntarily went into a monogamous marriage or relationship deserves to be cheated on. We don't understand how much cheating is it's a painful thing, right? Painful to the person who's being cheated on. The person who is doing the cheating, it's pleasure for you. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying the feeling of thinking you won't get caught. But this other person, it just takes one action to break this person's trust, to break their emotions. And the funny thing is, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You break them, your marriage may or may not recover from it, but they also may never heal from that lack of trust.
Sure.
And then it extends to every other person. It's why you hear a lot of women say, men are this, men are that. Because one or two men have hurt them, they then generalize. So we're just a broken set of people that are breaking other people. The way they say hurt people.
Yeah.
Trauma begets trauma, and that's what we're seeing here. I'm hoping that she and her partner will be able to have a conversation about this, maybe go for couples counseling, and that they're able to decide what they want, what the next steps will be for them in their marriage.
And maybe we'll get to also see an update if care is not taken, and so on. We do have some comments on YouTube. You can also go there and drop a comment or two. Let us know. Okay, Chukwemeka, who happens to be our number one right there, says, Happy New Month, Olive and Joe.
Happy New Month. Thank
Then he goes ahead to talk about the other story. Atiku will not back down for anyone. Says Atiku will not back down for anyone. The reason the APC will win again. And I won't support an El-Rufai as the VP to Obi if he eventually clinches the ticket. Mind you, the president has control over the electoral body, who will always do his bidding. We don't know about that. That's your thought.
So I understand where he's coming from about the president having control, which is something that we've always said.
Yeah.
That there should be an independence of INEC. The idea of independence of INEC would be that the INEC officer cannot be appointed.
By the
it should
president.
even be an elective position. Many have argued that the position of INEC officer should be an elective position. Let the people decide who will be the electoral umpire. Because what happens is, year in, year out, things like positions like INEC officer, Chief Justice of the Federation, they would either step down one person, put a new person, and people are not dumb. They just put two and two together, or they then start to make inferences that there's an ulterior motive to that. So I can see where he's coming from when he says that. We're not outrightly saying that the president is controlling INEC, but what we're saying is, he who plays the piper dictates the tune, right? If my boss here, I know Mr. Kayode Akintemi is my MD, CEO, there are certain things that I will not be able to do because I know that, or there are certain things I will do that maybe I typically wouldn't do. Maybe I would have decided, if I was somebody that was slothful and didn't care much about my job, I would decide to come to work twice a week, just use the remaining 3 to chill. But I know that there's somebody who has employed me, and if he says to me, he gives me an instruction, I have no choice but to follow it because he's directly involved in my being here, or maybe he appointed me to be here.
Yeah.
So I see where he's coming from.
Again, Elizabeth Jones is there as well on YouTube. She says, Kwankwaso will never work with Obi or become his vice.
You see, the one thing
Kwankwaso has presidential ambition, not vice president. Yesterday, Kwankwaso loyalty went to visit Tinubu at Aso Rock. Tinubu needs Kwankwaso for Kano's vote, and it will give him APC presidential ticket in 2031. Thinking Kwankwaso will be vice president to Obi can never work.
So you know the thing is, with elections and politics in Nigeria, I'm learning never to say never.
Yeah.
Because politics and football alike, anything can happen at the last
whistle.
Do you get until you hear
the last whistle?
Anything can happen. 30 seconds to the end of the match, they can score a goal that we did not see coming. So with politics, I would never say never. And I understand why she would have such thoughts about Kwankwaso not being willing to work with Obi. But who would have seen maybe, yes, there were speculations about the ADC. But as at 2023, I don't think we could predict that there will be a coalition by 2025. All right,
the comments are coming through. Felix Okechukwu says, I will start lending my opinion about politics in Nigeria if INEC chairman is I can't really see that one. Is an elective position.
Exactly what I said.
I don't think we are serious.
Exactly.
But don't forget, let's also highlight, let's inundate our viewers that the situation of ensuring that the INEC officer, or you could say the INEC chief, let's use that word, is an elective position, has already been tabled by the Senate. They're looking at that.
I hope that's something that
doesn't have
they're
powers
able
to appoint. They're trying to ensure that they look into that. And I think the same goes for the EFCC, the ICPC, INEC,
and even the Chief Justice of the Federation. Because the truth is,
as far as I'm concerned, even the CBN.
Yes, they will tell you that the NJC is the one that does the recommendations, but the president has to approve. If we're talking about a true, total independence of the judiciary, it should be without the input of the executive. Let the NJC within itself decide who
they think. They should cast their votes.
You know, at the end of the day, they should be able to decide with or without the approval of the executive.
They should also go to the ballots. I mean, just decide, okay, who do you think?
The same way they do NBA conference every year or NBA elections and they vote for who the president should be.
That's it.
Anyway, it may not be by voting. It may not be by voting of the general.
No, not general.
Maybe
but
the
of course
body
you have
of
like
benchers.
a board, yes, a body of benchers and so on, and then they pick. Olive, I think some of these things are known already because there are people even before us, before we were born. Let me use that word, from as early as the 60s, who had foreseen these things. And I'm sure they must have tabled it at some point, but it didn't fly. Let's go to our last story for today. If you have had your car stop or your tire needing to be changed on the express in Lagos State, be it on 3rd Mainland Bridge or Echo Bridge, anywhere, mostly, especially on Lekki Expressway, then you will be able to relate to the next video we're about to play to you. A lady couldn't hold back her pain when she decided to make a video and call out the governor, Governor Sanwo-Olu, in what she called an invasion of touts. If you're tired, boss.
That's usually your cry. That's your constituency.
I always say it.
Because I know that on this show, Benga is so pro traffic lights. Every time his greatest pain point in Lagos is the electricity. But you, fogs, that's your greatest pain point. So I'm sure you
just take a look at the
video.
Around offshore Ikoyi, around 5:30 p.m., my way back to mainland. And all of a sudden, this guy came from nowhere, about 20 to 30 guys. Uncle Bomoto Muni. Alayo mate wo fuwani. Alayo 50 kilo worth of a bowl, alayo rekuro mi se. Africa gbawo to any over fine get around done what to alaye Well, I thought first I go when I already wow, the football of my last these guys made me out chills yesterday. Thank God to a good Samaritan that stood by me. You know, we called a towing vehicle. Even when the guy came, the towing vehicle gone there, when the towing vehicle gone move. One day, the towing vehicle gone back so wo. Oh no, you couldn't buy. I'm a for a down Tony. Any hour than a motor man move. We eventually moved that car like after about an hour, after negotiation, I think I end up paying like 20K or something to those guys at the end of the day. You know, what's more, but no, what's more pass what's go low, but you know, the motor so one again. Let go stay. This is it makes sense. So
That's the challenge we have in Lagos State. I'm sure there are people, I've heard on radio, people calling in and talking about this same issue. Lagos State is tagged to be a mega city.
Sure,
I don't know anywhere
let's
that
not
is
talk of people.
I don't know if, I mean.
Do you remember the days that I had a flat tire and I called you, you were driving behind me around 5 a.m.
Yes.
We parked on the road. These guys came that they wanted
From
to help.
nowhere.
The next thing, another man came and just said, oh, that we can't do anything.
Until you pay money.
They had removed my tire.
Yes, that
they
you
were
have
going
to
to
pay
change.
this
Now said we
amount.
have to pay. And how much were they asking for? I think they were asking for like
20,000
naira
naira.
before they will start work on my car.
So before you even losing the car, you pay. Before you fix the tire, you pay. And then there are factions. While this one is working,
Another person's
another one
team
will
can come and
"Hey,
say,
what are you doing there? You can't do that too. On Lekki Expressway, the so-called big
I know
city.
part of why that happened. That place was incredibly dark.
And it's dark. These
No
guys, if your car stops
street
at
lights.
2 a.m., 3
Right, you are in
a.m., 4
soup.
a.m., they are coming outside. Now, the surprising thing is if your car even stops at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., I'm talking about broad daylight, they are still coming.
And what's even worse is that there have been allegations of people who say that, or allegations made by people, that sometimes they put bottles and all these things on the road to intentionally affect you, so that maybe a mile from there your car will break down and then they will just show up out of the blues. Like the worst thing that can happen to you is for your car to break down in a dark area or to break down on 3rd Milan Bridge at night. That's the most. I know somebody who came home with literally tire rims.
Of course.
Why? He said his tire burst on 3rd Milan Bridge. He said, I would rather drive this car home and wreck it than for me to stop on 3rd Milan Bridge. Because when you stop there, you will lose more than that tire that you're trying to fix. In some cases, not only are they taxing you, they are robbing you.
They are robbing you. There are cases of people who have been robbed. There are cases of people who have had, they've had to let go of their mobile devices because at the end of the day, these people come. See reactions there. It's unfortunate that since the time road users are making this complaint, Nigerian police had never said or done anything about it. Arresting 1 or 2 of them will send a lesson to others. It's like a normal thing that now happens in Lagos. I hope the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is listening.
I hope so.
The same thing happened to me 3 years ago when my car overheated. Out of nowhere, about 7 guys suddenly appeared within seconds. Thankfully, there were 5 of us. This is the saving grace when you are many. There were 5 of us in the car. Who knows what could have happened if I had been alone? And that's true. Those CCTV cameras for 3rd Mainland are only to pick plate numbers to charge for overspeeding. Zero concern for security of Lagosians. Lagos State government, I dey lie, my brother.
I will lie for you.
I will lie for you. Brotherly. Let's move on to another one. If we have another one. But then again, these are the tweets. To the Lagos State Governor, His Excellency, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, please look into this. And just like the first tweet said, the police officers have simply done nothing. There were times where I must give credence and kudos to the police at some point where I did notice you had the police officers on 3rd Mainland Bridge. At every distance you would drive, you will see a police officer standing, you see another police officer. Then we had the towing vans and the police officers, they were on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. I had an e-hailing cab guy who picked me up and told me the same issue he had. He said the saving grace was that there were police officers who saw him and they drove to him. And as soon as he fixed it, they stood there with him while the boys were coming. And as soon as he was done, the police officers told him, Oga, move immediately. Move, we'll wait for you. As soon as you move, as soon as you finish, move. So the police officers are even telling you move. Olive, I don't know.
Anyway, we hope that this is something that will be looked into, that, you know, we can't deny the fact that we don't have enough policemen. While we're dealing with crime within the states, I mean, not just Lagos State, of course, it's not a jab at Lagos State. We're dealing with crime all around the country. Insecurity is a challenge. So we do not have enough people. On the other hand, the response to this that some would give would be saying, you're saying we don't have enough police officers. Every other day you're seeing escorts, inside Lagos. But it is what it is. We'll continue to talk about this and shine the spotlight on this. But let's now share with you what our top stories are this morning on Breakfast Central. Police busts illegal blood bank in Delta State. A 41-year-old man has been involved, and they bust this. Labour Party divided over rumored anti-Tinubu plot. And away from the Labour Party, we'll be looking at reactions trailing the National Assembly constitutional amendment process. And moving on to that, looking at some politics, President Tinubu presides over FEC meeting, approves key memos. And the newspaper front pages will form a key part of today. At this point, we'll open the phone lines for you to call and share your thoughts. So join us for all these and more. And for our top stories, we'll now be taking a look at a disturbing story coming out of Delta State. One that raises serious questions about public health, regulation, and law enforcement. The Delta State Police Command has arrested a 41-year-old man who is a self-acclaimed medical laboratory technician for operating an illegal blood bank from his one-room apartment in Uborikoko, local government area. The suspect is accused of luring underage children to donate blood for 5,000 naira, then selling the pins to hospitals for as much as 13,500. This isn't just a case of breaking the law, it's a potential public health disaster. Where was the oversight? How long did this go on? And how many lives may have been put at risk? Now joining us to shed more light on this development is Police Public Relations Officer of Delta State, Bright Edafe. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. First of all, kudos to the police for making this burst and bringing it to our public attention. Can you please take us through the story and give us the details of how you got to find out about this illegal blood bank being run?
Okay, modern policing, it's all about community-based policing, where you liaise with members of your host community to count on them to give you information when it becomes necessary. And these informations are what we process to get what we call intelligence. So when information has been processed to get intelligence, that is when we act. And on that fateful day, the 25th of July, 2025, the operatives from Oborikoko division stormed that location. It's just like a commercial building where some people are living as a residential apartment, and also some shops are also there. And this guy was just operating low-key, no signboard, nobody knows what he's doing. Apart from this, is a prospective client who goes to him, particularly when they are short of funds. They'll go there, claim that they are donating their blood. For me, I don't take it like they are donating their blood. I take it like they are selling their blood, because for the 3 suspects that we saw there who went there to give their blood on that day, they said they have been there more than 4 to 5 times, and on each occasion, they are paid the sum of 5,500 naira. So having a fixed price for it is obvious that they are doing buying and selling of blood, which by Nigerian law, it's actually an offense. And that's not just it. It is not registered, it is not known, which means that there is no monitoring mechanism to check what they are doing, how healthy the blood is, and if it's actually safe to be used on humans. And nobody knows if they are also diverting this blood. You never can tell the extent to which some persons can go. So it was on that premise that the place was raided. The lab scientist was arrested, and one other logistic manager that like he calls himself, and 3 other suspects who went there to sell their blood were also arrested.
Wow, this is a shocking one, if one must say. But I mean, kudos to the police once again. But how does this? How long did this go on for? How long?
He claimed that he has been operating for the past 2 years. That is what he told us, that he has been operating for the past 2 years.
Wow. Okay. And what do we think may have fueled him being able to continue this business? Is it that maybe the hospitals haven't had enough blood, such that people have felt the need to go to this illegal blood bank as well to get blood? Or would you say that it's poverty? Or what would you say are the factors that have enabled him to stay in business for as long as 2 years?
I think orientation is part of it, because these persons who are going there to give their blood could easily go to the hospital and do it properly. You know, while in the process of donating their blood, they could also be infected. So orientation is part of it. Greed also is part of it. I don't attribute any wrongdoing to poverty. Most of us were not actually born with silver spoon, but our parents raised us rightly, and that's some of the result that we are seeing today. So when people go about committing crimes and attributing it to poverty, I usually do not agree with that. They know what they are doing, and people just want the easiest way out, shortcut, and they forget that shortcut, it can be very, very dangerous.
All right. There were also indications that the blood being taken did not only come from adults, but there were also children. How true is that?
Our investigation has not uncovered that yet. The people we saw there, the list was 21 years, we have 25 years, 23 years, so we can't call them children, but they are, I tagged them young, vulnerable youths whom the medical lab scientists took advantage of.
Okay, can you let us know what, I mean, you've mentioned that it's illegal to run this blood bank, which we all agree with. What charges is the suspect facing at the moment? Has he been charged to court?
Okay, our legal officer is working on that, and as soon as he's done, the suspect be charged to court. But he will definitely be charged to court. And also the state government body who are responsible for the running, monitoring of blood banks in Delta State, they are also on it. The place has presently been sealed since that date of arrest. So definitely it's not going back there, and certainly it will be arraigned in court soonest.
Is this something that happens every once in a while? You know, is this a regular occurrence that we see people in different pockets or corners running illegal blood banks?
Okay, it goes beyond blood bank. I am happy for this opportunity to speak, because it even goes beyond the legal blood bank. We see people that goes to local chemists that is being run by auxiliary nurses, not trained or certified nurses now who went to nursing school and got their required licenses. Auxiliary nurses who are supposed to just carry train and just with syringe and the rest pass to doctors or nurses. They are not the ones administering drip and injections, carrying out abortion in a small chemist. We arrested one the other day in Kwale. So just in Benin, somebody was telling me that though he has not made it public, that a child of 7 years was infected with HIV through blood transfusion because they went to a quack. I will call it quack. A quack, one small local hospital. So like I said, it's beyond the illegal blood bank. We must learn to patronize duly approved hospitals and facilities, especially when it comes to our health. The Lagos issue, I remember when the CP was going through the police reports, he said that a particular artist who died some time ago, an auxiliary nurse was the one who administered him some injection, which could have complicated his health issue at that time. So we should stop patronizing quacks. But we always want to, I would always advise people to go to the hospital when they are sick. Go to an approved laboratory when you want to do tests, because our health, they say, is our wealth. We should not play with it or joke with it, no matter what is at stake.
All right, so there's a statement that says, if you see something, say something. Could you share with us if the neighbors who lived very close, because we could see the vicinity, the area, did the neighbors find out what was going on there? Were they the ones that reported to the police? Or if they weren't the one, how did you find out? And secondly, did the neighborhood show any concern regarding what was going on there?
Well, obviously, I am not allowed. It will be unprofessional to disclose the source of our information. Yes. However, we have good community relationship with our local community in Delta State. If you are monitoring our activities, you will discover that there is hardly any week where we don't issue 2 or 3 press releases of achievement, either recovering of ransom money, arrest of suspected kidnappers, armed robbers. We cannot do this without information. So they have been very, very helpful. I'm speaking generally now. However, the source of our information that led to the uncovering of this illegal blood bank, I am not permitted to reveal it.
All right. And I mean, you've made an appeal, a passionate appeal to people to not visit quacks, to make sure that they go to registered hospitals when they're having health challenges. And while I agree with you that poverty is not a reason for crime, as in the case of the blood bank, we cannot also deny the fact that poverty is a reason why a number of people do not go to the hospitals. But beyond poverty, there's also misinformation, people not having adequate information and not understanding what best line of action is for them. So what bodies would you like to maybe work with to ensure that this message is being passed across? Are you working with the Ministry of Health? Is the National Orientation Agency maybe helping to spread this message to let people know that it's important for them to go to hospitals and train professionals and not patronize quacks?
Okay, I want to correct an impression that poverty is the reason why people go to quack. In contrary, quacks usually charges even more than government hospitals. That's the truth, because these quacks, they are doing it to earn money. It's not community service. It's not free service. They will charge more for doing utter rubbish. That's the truth. So poverty is not the reason for people going to quack. I think they just want a shortcut or easy way. If I go to the hospital, I will have to stay monitoring that and things like that. However, for the sensitization issue, yes, we are partnering with the National Orientation Bureau. We also have the State Orientation Bureau in Delta State, the Commissioner for Health, and all relevant bodies that we need to pass out this sensitization message to the people. We are partnering together. And like I said, Delta State is one of a kind. We in Delta State Police Command, we usually find this easy because when we need this support and community partnership, stakeholder partnership from relevant state government bodies, we always get it in full dose. So I can guarantee you that mechanisms have already been put in place to see that people are duly and informed on the importance of going to licensed and registered hospitals for when it comes to their health. And generally, it's not just only on their health. There are other issues that we must learn to always do it properly. We should stop patronizing shortcuts. We should stop patronizing quacks, because health, like I said earlier, is wealth.
All right. Health is wealth. You've said it all. But on Monday, if I do recall, there was a report that you equally put out there, much more like telling the public about a situation where a young lady had gotten married and then she connived with certain persons and kidnapped herself, requesting for ransom. What's the update on that story? Hopefully, I don't know if my producers can get that video. I would have loved to put it out there first, especially for the benefit of our viewers, so that they can get a glimpse of what the story really is. But I'll ask you to please just hold on. We'd like to know what really is the true story on that, and then also give us an update on what the latest report simply is. But before you do, let's just wait for a little second and ensure that we do have that video, especially for our viewers. Let's take a look.
Interviewing 3 suspects. One of them is a 27-year-old lady who just got married in March. She will be the one that will explain why she's here, but I can assure you that it will be very shocking. What is your name?
Merit. Ele.
Merit. Okay, Merit got married March this year, and according to her, she said she was given money by a younger brother or elder brother, as the case may be, to purchase a tricycle, and she used that money to sponsor, you say your, what did you call it again?
Bridal shower.
Bridal shower. She used the money for her bridal shower. Now, it did not end there. On Sunday this week, that is, what's that date?
20th.
On the 20th of this month, July 2025, she told her husband she was coming, and the next thing we heard was that she has been kidnapped. The ransom money was paid. The ransom of how much? 3 million naira was paid. But the husband did not give up. The husband followed up with the case he had already reported at the State Special Anti-Kidnapping and Cyber Crime Squad, and will continue to work until we arrested one of the suspects who eventually let the cat out of the bag. What you can't do?
So I now masterminded the plan to forge that I was kidnapped.
You masterminded the plan to say you were kidnapped?
Yes, sir.
With who and who?
Peter and...
you don't know the other one name? Where you from know Peter?
He works at where I was staying before as a security personnel there.
Okay. So how much your husband eventually pay?
3 million.
3 million. Who paid the money?
Very tough one, eh? Can you bring us up to speed on what the update on this case really is?
It's quite alarming because for this year alone, this should be the third, that is second or the third cases of self-kidnap that we are recording. And I don't know, maybe Nigerians don't know that masterminding your own kidnap, it's a criminal offense. And that is why each time these things happen, we take it upon ourselves to bring it out on the media space so that people will see that it is indeed an offense. And let me just tell you something. Yesterday morning, the husband who initially reported the matter came with a withdrawal of case letter. And I warned him that I should not allow the CP to see that letter. Yes, he will be arrested for trying to compound felony. It is kidnapping, whether being safe or whatever, it is kidnapping and it is a very serious offense. It is a felonious offense. On that fateful day, a case of kidnapping was actually reported. The CTREP I got initially when we arrested the original suspect was that we have arrested a suspected kidnapper. It was during the course of further investigation that the suspect now said, no, it's not kidnapping, no, see. She came out, she lodged herself in the hotel. She will call these two guys to the hotel, and they will be using her phone to make this call and send these messages that she has been kidnapped. And eventually the husband paid the sum of 3 million naira like you all heard from her. But the long and short story of it all is that the command does not take any complaint lightly. And that was why when the complaint came, even after she were informed that she has eventually regained her freedom, we did not stop going on our intelligence-led investigation, which eventually led to the arrest of one of them, who eventually told us how they all planned it. But me, I wonder why the husband will come with a letter of withdrawal that he wants the wife to be released. I told him that it is a felonious offense, and certainly the woman will be charged for the offense which she has committed alongside her accomplices. Wow.
Well, I think you're right. This is not the first time. I do recall another incident in which you also did a video and mentioned about some young lads or something who equally did the same while they were in school. So finally, from me, my last question would definitely be, what do you think is really driving these actions, especially not just in Delta State, but with the reports that you've heard in different parts of the country? What's driving this action of people wanting to self-kidnap and seek money?
The quest to get money through the easy way out. They believe it is the easiest way out. But unfortunately, it is, to me, the most difficult way out. Because I can't trade my freedom for anything. I cannot trade even 100 million naira for 1 week in prison. I can't. I always tell people, so why take risk that can lead you to either untimely death or some time in prison? So people are just desperate to get money easily. And that is why people are going into all sorts of vices, including gambling and other, even internet fraud. These are issues that we must come together as a people. It's not just a police responsibility alone. We must come together as a people and start from the home. Start letting people know that things are not as easy as it looks. There are things I tell to my children. One will wonder why I'm doing it. I know what I'm doing because we are all products of our homes. People don't want to come to them with that reality, but it's the truth because everybody comes from a home, comes from a society, comes from a local government, from a state, and from a country. So we must agree that what we are exhibiting today is a product of our upbringing. Shortcut is dangerous. See, when we're growing up, we're singing this song, happy and way not good, happy and way not good. Happy and way is shortcut, and that's the truth. It's dangerous. Like this lady, whether she likes it or not, she's going to spend some time in prison, and that is if she does not eventually lose her marriage. But I hope she does not because, like I said, the husband was here pleading on behalf of the woman.
Well, at the end of the day, it's no longer a personal matter. It's not a criminal offense that the state will handle. And we're hoping that this serves as an example to other people who are potentially planning to self-kidnap, to let them know that it's an offense, it's a crime, and they will face their time in law. Thank you so much for joining us, and kudos to the police. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, let's move on to another story. Nigeria's federal government has approved the renovation of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, at the cost of 712,258 million naira with a completion period of 12 months. This was made known at the State House Correspondents after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, which held at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa in Abuja, presided over by President Bola Tinubu. This meeting, which brought together key cabinet members and senior government officials, saw the review of key policy decisions, budget implementations, and the approval of memos from several ministries. News Central's State House correspondent, Bettina Mweli, reports.
Of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, together with several members of the cabinet, briefed State House correspondents after the meeting. The minister says that some approvals were granted, further reiterating the administration's commitment to transparency and accountability.
Swear in the National Assembly Service Commission nominee designate, Honorable Nana Uzo Kalu, who has been confirmed by the Federal Executive Council and was sworn in today.
The recently launched oncology centers in the teaching hospital in Katsina, in Enugu, and Benin are just an example of what this president has approved, has provided resources, and is already beginning to yield tangible results that Nigerians can see.
And so today, FEC approved, the review of, project in Boronu and Adamawa, and that's Bunuma Road project. And it was initially awarded in 2020, 45 kilometer, 15.43 billion. And today is being reviewed to 61.763 billion.
Top on the agenda was a briefing by the Ministers of Power, Aviation and Tourism, who provided status reports on the National Grid Recovery Plan, airport renovations, and implementing a cultural village in every state.
The first is actually the approval of the award of contracts for the engineering, procurement, and construction services for energizing education program under the special intervention of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Funding.
Murtala Mohammed International Airport, we have decided to strip it down for total rehabilitation. So this is not the patchwork we used to do before, where we just do some patchwork in some sections and all of that. The total rehabilitation would mean, just for transparency, to let the public know that we are going to strip it down to only the carcass and then do the complete M&E again, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, everything, to have a brand new airport.
So for every state, we are proposing the Renewed Hope Cultural Village, which looks to capture this creativity within that state.
Today's session marks the final FEC meeting for the month of July and sets the tone for the administration's accelerated second-half implementation strategy in 2025. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Nweli.
Very interesting there. Well, let's wait and see. Hopefully all of these decisions and approvals will indeed yield positive results. We'll go for a quick break, but before we do, we'll tell you what's coming up next here on Breakfast Central, on News Central, especially today on a Friday, the 1st of August, 2025. Thanks for staying with us. The second hour of Breakfast Central kicks off right here and now. We'll be looking at a very interesting story concerning the Labour Party, especially with the latest reports concerning an anti-coalition, or better still, a party that's actually been divided within itself. But before that, our guest is in the waiting room. A crisis seems to be brewing in the Coalition Action Democratic Congress, also known as ADC, as the Deputy National Chairman of the party. They say it's a factional acting national chairman, the one otherwise known as Nasiru. Actually, he's claimed that he's the duly elected chairman, and several members of the executive committee of the party have resigned. Well, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, he says that he claims that the members of the coalition have already signed themselves national positions, and this is for. Let's just take a look at the video.
Our constitution of the party is very clear. No outsider can come on the same day, and if you are personally decided to resign your position, you cannot take somebody outside the party, is not even the party member, on the same day he is unveiling himself as a party member to transfer power to him. It's unconstitutional. It's against the Electoral Act. It's against our party constitutions. Our stand is, as a deputy national chairman, duly elected during the last conventions in Zaria, held in Zaria, I resume office as an acting national chairman of the party, pending next convention.
Factional National Publicity Secretary Abayomi Arabambi on Tuesday petitioned security agencies that Obi, Nigerian Labour Congress President Joa Jairu, Senator Victor Ome, and high-ranking members of the Ninadi Usman faction were planning to stage a coup through the march. He further alleged that the planned demonstration was a ruse to forcibly reclaim the party's former national secretariat in Otako, Abuja, currently occupied by Julius Abure-led group. However, in a rebuttal issued by Usman through her senior special advisor on media, Ken Asogwa, she dismissed the allegation as a malicious and desperate frame-up aimed at blackmailing and destabilizing the opposition. We're joined this morning for the discussion by Factional National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Mr. Abayomi Arabambi. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right. The Senator Ninadi Usman-led faction of the Labour Party have denied the claims that you've made. And you did see the exact words there. They said it's a malicious and desperate frame-up aimed at blackmailing and destabilizing the opposition. Let's start with the claims. What made you come to the conclusion that they were planning a coup? What evidence did you have to support the claim of a planned coup?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning once again to Nigerians. My position is reinforced, by the fact that ever since 2023 general election, Mr. Peter Obi has not deemed fit to accept that result of the election after the declaration of the winner, after declaration, by the first court of first instance, that is the appeal court for presidential election, and also the Supreme Court. This is unprecedented by anybody. And since that time, he has soaked himself, in this hatred about our democracy and most of his actions. You just refer to me as a factioner, but you remember there is no faction in Labour Party. We do not have factions in Labour Party, as far as we are concerned. We only have one leadership. Nenedi Usman was a product of something I would call, a tea party or a Yam Festival committee. For them to have the audacity without the approval of the leadership of the party, planning that they want to stage a 1 million march rally is an attempt to undermine the authority of Nigeria and to forcibly destabilize its democratically elected administration. Planning 1 million march rally, for God's sake, are we in an election period? What exactly is the function that 1 million march rally was spearheaded by Peter Obi himself and Joe Ajero? All of you know Joe Ajero is still standing before the federal government on treasonable felony charges. So these are the people that deliberately posted their names, the obedient, the NLC, the TUC, this and that, on that banner, and they claim they want to assemble 1 million people inside the party secretariat. Please, to achieve what? If not for that, it is just a basic attempt at a political insurrection. Cloak under the guise of the so-called 1 million march rally to make Nigeria ungovernable. What exactly? Do they want to come and campaign for Peter Obi, who we all know has joined that coalition of disgruntled elements in the ADC? You are in ADC today, you claim you are in PDP tomorrow, you are in Labour Party. It is not acceptable. We do not have automatic ticket for anybody. Ours is that those who want to run should come and do primary. So for us, and as far as we are concerned, they knew what they were doing, and that was why, we quickly need to alert the Nigerian government and other security agencies that anybody claiming you want to do a 1 million man, it's just a small screen. He has an agenda to topple this democracy. And because that was why I said, despite the fact that he knew he lost the election by himself, by our former DG, I've forgotten his name now, not the one that died, the one was Shutokun, Itua Igodalo, and Aisha Yusufu. These are the people that superintended over Labour Party. They rigged Labour Party out of the 2023 general election. So you cannot come back now, rather than for you to wait till 2027. Mr. Peter Obi and Joe Ajero especially have been planning everything possible to make Nigeria ungovernable. This is a man that had never spoken well about our country ever in 2023. He has never spoken well about our country. And that is on presidential farm and concern. You see, as a Nigerian, if you don't say anything good in your country, you have a name, you have an aim to make sure that administration did not succeed. And that is not the function of the opposition. It is just for you to put the ruling party on their toes. Whatever they are doing, you must come out with a plausible solution. It is not just for you to be willing to be praying for the failure or downfall of the administration. He was once a governor. You all knew what even the man going about with him now, Senator Victor Obi, said about him during their second term. He called Obi a rebel. He said Obi is a man who actually want to be controlling him, but he, as national chairman, is not open to such control. So why will we be open to search for him? So for me, I still insist. They claim they want to go to court. I'll be willing to meet them in court. They should come and explain to Nigerians. They should come and explain to the National Security Advisor. Peter Obi and Joe Ajero come and explain what exactly do they want to do with the 1 million man rally. Are they campaigning for Obi to be president under which party? Are they being this election time? Yeah, that one is taken, but this is not an election time. You are now claiming you want to mobilize 1 million people. Do you know the meaning? 1 million people inside the Labour Secretariat. It is an attempt to just go and seize the National Assembly. It is an attempt to forcibly enter the Aso Rock and overthrow the president, because Obi and Joe Ajero, they have their eyes on that presidency, but they don't want to do election. So that is our position. And I have seen maintaining on national television. I will prefer to meet them in court. If they said they want to lie, we have facts and figures.
Mr. Rabambi, if I hear you correctly, Mr. Rabambi, if I hear you correctly, your grounds against Mr. Peter Obi in this instance and your evidence is the fact that he and the Nenadi Usman-led committee of faction of the Labour Party want to stage a 1 million march. Is that the evidence that you have against him, saying that this is likely a coup?
You see, when somebody said they want to take you to court, you don't put, out all the facts. I am just telling Nigerians. You see, sometimes when police arrest some people, they can go and check, whatever they post. You see some people posting something, that can be likened to an event that, the person committed. That is how investigation is done. If an offense is committed, it doesn't mean police will be there. But when they launch the investigation, they will get to know who is the perpetrators. I am saying that 1 million rally is needless. As far as I'm concerned, in our polity, it's needless. So their attempt is because, one, they have attempted twice now to take over that party secretariat. Peter Obi is not running for election. All they wanted was to use Labour Party to promote the state of Biafra. And I will give you 2 instances.
But that's an allegation.
Yes.
But that's a strong allegation, though. I hope you're able to defend that in court.
I'm coming. I want you to post where Obi has ever condemned insecurity in the Southeast. Where people are killed, I want you to tell me where Obi has ever condemned the atrocities of IPOB. I want you to tell me every killing in the Southeast that Mr. Obi has ever opened his mouth to condemn in Nigeria. But you see, whatever that happened in other regions of the country, you will see him jumping up and down to condemn the administration. They have been killing even since 1960 in Nigeria. So he's not the one now to now come, something that will refer to an empty container load of economics. A man who will come and tell Nigeria, all manner of data that are false. So he's the one that knows how to, speak about other regions, but he will keep mute. He will remain muted when you come to, the Southeast. That is not the kind of Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Arabambi, just to correct what you're saying, Mr. Arabambi, I'm just trying to respond to you. A simple Peter Obi condemns killings in the Southeast search on Google will show you a plethora of, links where you can see news articles reporting Peter Obi condemning the killings in the Southeast, speaking against the stay-at-home order. You will see a number of it on Google. If you want, I can read 1 or 2 for you. Would you like me to do that?
Has Peter Obi ever condemned IPOB in Nigeria?
Sorry?
Has Peter Obi ever condemned the 3 of those IPOB in Nigeria?
I didn't hear that. Has Peter Obi ever condemned what?
IPOB. These indigenous people of Biafra. Has he ever condemned them?
Right. So, Mr. Arabambi, to be honest, if you're going to make such strong allegations, especially because you're doing it on our platform, you would need to have credible evidence to make such strong allegations. You talk about, and I'm a bit concerned about the ethnic colorations that you're adding to this. It's okay for you to argue about being the legitimate, if you believe that your faction is a legitimate leader, right? INEC recognizes your faction, and being able to argue that you're legitimate leaders of the Labour Party. Well, let's not bring in ethnic colorations into this, because if you argue, from what you said earlier, you said Peter Obi has never said anything good about Nigeria. The question is, the things he's speaking about, can you say that a number of these things, can you point to the ones that are lies?
Let me tell you, Obi has never spoken the truth about this country.
Like where?
Give us examples.
I am telling you, he has never spoken the truth about this country. When you are condemning an economy as an opposition, what solution? Or is it peculiar? Is this peculiar to the present administration? Our position as a political party is this: when you have a government, you need to wait every 4 years, to come and tell Nigerians what you are going to do better.
So there's no need. So, Mr. Arabambi, I think we need to move away from this particular part of it, because we're not able to. Because
the truth is,
it's not
what
balanced,
I'm saying is, you need to be able to substantiate what you're saying. You can't
trying to get
claims that you cannot verify. There are reports online of Peter Obi criticizing the wrongdoings by IPOB, condemning the killings in the southeastern part of the country, condemning the sit-at-home order. He's never. I mean, if you want to say something, at least...
He did not condemn it. When you want to condemn something, you don't tell me because people are angry. Was why they asked people to sit at home. It's not bad at that.
But you just said, you just said that he never said anything about it. That he never said anything.
No,
you know what? You know what?
No. That is not the way to do it. You see, when a man ran to Niger State and you now openly condemn and say that 3 people were straight up in, probably in a fraud, but he failed when this criminal element in the start went to kill 9 people. They are fact that I want you to post. Maybe you can bring them. We meet tomorrow.
Okay, Mr. Rabambi, let's just tell you that we're supposed to have...
Never be condemning issues in the Southeast. He has never been condemning, criminality in the Southeast because...
Okay, Mr. Rabambi, we were supposed to have a representative from the Labour Party join this interview, but of course, just a few minutes ago...
from non-Labour Party, from the legal group, they are not recognized. By
a member
committee
yes.
of the Labour Party.
Yes, they were supposed to join this interview this morning, but of course, I'm told that they do have another meeting that's ongoing now. That's why, so far, so good. We've been watching...
None of them can come and face me. They don't have any meeting.
We will make it happen.
Come and face me. When they come, I will read out something that will bring in over 4-5 million viewers to your television. If I should see even an artist will come, I will not be bringing it back. Even about bank, I will be bringing it out for Nigeria to see.
Can I also please ask?
Sorry, I just want to ask. Sorry. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want this to look like, we don't work for the Labour Party. Let's get that fact clear. This is News Central. We're not the Labour Party, so we're not here to argue with you on, who Labour Party is or defend them. It's not our duty. It's not our job. Okay, we're just stating clearly here that we were expecting one of the members to join us this morning, but of course we've gotten the information that they're not able to do so now at the moment. Hopefully they will do that by 10. Hopefully they'll do that by 10 a.m. But the show is over by then. Maybe they will be able to join another program. But my question to you is, in all of this, it seems like there's a bickering back and forth, and then there's a heap on ethnic conversations regarding to the political party. And then you also made a statement that your political party does not criticize the administration, the current administration. You wait until 4 years before you criticize.
No, that's not what I said. I said the function of the opposition is to criticize the present administration and offer possible solutions. That's what I said.
But that has been done by those... But let me state clearly, but that has been done by a few opposition parties and members. They've said something, and they've also proffered solutions. Even the person you talked about, Mr. Peter Obi, has said something. Has also proffered solutions. Even in his recently, there's a video of a book launch where he also spoke, which I'm going to tell the producers to get that video ready, and I want to play to your hearing. But just take a look at this video. Maybe he didn't say something. I don't know. We don't speak for him, but we just want to ensure that when you come to the national TV, we need to substantiate with facts. Let's take a look. Mr. Rabambi.
Okay, we'll bring the video
we'll get that video for you.
We'll bring it back.
I want to ask, so in all of this, where does Julius Abure stand? Is he part of your faction? Does he support the things you're saying? Or he's not part of Labour Party at all? Because we've simply kept quiet on him and Akpakpa. Where do they stand?
Let me tell you, we have just one Labour Party. Apapa, Abure, we are the originals, the landlord of Labour Party. And the rent that Peter Obi paid into Labour Party has expired. The rent that Joajero paid in Labour Party has expired. The rent that General Victor Imo paid into Labour Party has expired.
Okay, so there's a rent fee.
Their house.
Is there a rent fee?
I am giving an analogy. They came into the party. Peter Obi was never a member of our party. He came from PDP. Just like he Sultan himself from Abga, when he had problems with Senator Viteme, he jumped to PDP. From PDP, came to Labour Party. Now from Labour Party, he himself had declared himself as a member of ADC because he was there during the inauguration of the MAC and Arabesola committee. He was part of them. So as far as we are concerned, if anybody wants to come and renew your rent, but do not forget it is, at the beck and call of the landlord, if we so desire, but our president candidate is not reserved for anybody. As far as we are concerned, is not and shall never be reserved for Mr. Peter Obi. Our president candidate, our president seat is not reserved and shall never be reserved for Mr. Peter Obi and the other, disgruntled element, the senator and the House of Rep, that were going around with him. Thank God 2027 is around the corner. Then Nigeria will see who is in charge of Labour Party when the time comes. But for us, we are all together. There is no faction in Labour Party. It's Peter Obi that doesn't know where he belongs. But we wish him well in his sojourn, whether in ADC, whether in PDP or SDP, we wish him well. But we don't expect him to be talking about Labour Party now. It is a shame, on them, because they are an attempt to take over the party. Was not because they want to do 2027 election. No, it was because they want to use it as a tool to foment trouble in Abuja. They want to use it as a tool. And that's why the man never said anything good.
And you have proof. You have proof of all of this.
When I have challenged them,
do you have
write whatever they want to write to the police, I will also put up our own defense, then come and attend. Because if you come into my house at 2 a.m., you said you want to come and greet me, my dear brother, I will ask my security to shoot you. What are you doing in my house by 2 a.m.? Uninvited. Somebody said he want to organize a 1 million march rally, and I'm going to sit here. You are telling me, oh, he meant well for Nigeria, 1 million march rally. To do what? Are we campaigning? What are we doing? And you have seen, most of, his utterances against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A man will go to UK. You will now be demarketing, your country. Whenever there is any issues in Nigeria, you will see Mr. Peter Obi as the Minister of Disaster Announcement in Nigeria. So you have never spoken any good thing about this country, and you are telling me such a man meant well for this country? But I am willing to meet him in the court of law, please. I am willing to meet him in the court of law.
Mr. Abambi, this man was once your party's golden egg. This man was once the person who your party adored and positioned. In fact, the ticket was expressly reserved for him until later you withdrew the ticket. So now, saying that, the way that you sound, it's almost like you never had any form of reverence for Mr. Peter Obi. I want to also point out something. In this interview, and in the last interview that we had with you, you've been threatening to open a can of worms, like you have something against, like you have something on Peter Obi. Is that true?
Let me remind you, your TV also was there when the chairman said any day he hear PIM from Mr. Peter Obi that we are going to spill, issues that will make him smell like the rotten egg.
Which chairman?
I hereby challenge them to go beyond their boundary.
Okay.
We have a lot, and that law, we have a lot. Are you getting me? We have a lot against them, but I would prefer they take this matter to court so that we can provide certified true copy of evidence, against them. The one they committed before the election, the one they committed, the fraud, the monumental fraud they committed even during the election.
Hold that thought there.
After the election,
hold that thought.
We will break it out.
All right, you've talked about Mr. Abambi. Hold that thought, and I want us to press in a little deeper. I have just one more question for you, but let's go on this very quick break. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We're still looking at the drama happening within the Labour Party, and joining us is the National Publicity Secretary of the Julius Abure-led faction of the Nigerian Labour Party, Ayobami Abambi. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Before we went on the break, you were speaking as to some alleged fraud that was committed by Peter Obi during or before the elections. Is that correct?
Yes, of course.
All right. Was this fraud committed within your party?
Of course, the fraud was, he committed it.
And your party was aware of this fraud?
No, we got every, there are some ways, we do our own things. During that time, Peter Obi somehow, managed, to use what I would call a gradual method to deceive the party leadership into taking over the party administration during the presidential election. And because Julius Abure, as a man of peace, doesn't want to rock the boat with him, and that was why I put it to them on national television that their banks, their account they open a foreign bank, which we have challenged them several times, where he put Aisha Yusufu as a signatory and Itwai Gwadalu also as a signatory to Labour Party account without the authority of the party. But when it was time for them to start withdrawing, they came to the party for a letter you know when you are open, when you want to open, you know, a personal account and an official account. But I put it to Mr. Peter Obi that the letter they gave them does not bear the name of the account they opened.
Who gave them? Who gave them the letter?
They came to the party after they have opened the account. They came to the party. So the party gave them a letter. They should come and show the world the letter they gave them. As you as an informed fellow, if you want to open an account with New Central Television, it will be a New Central Television. It is not going to be. It's not going to be a Central News Television. When the letter given to you was New Central Television Limited, you know, or something. You see, we have a lot. That is just the tip of the iceberg. The way and manner they withdrew money from that account shows, you know, some form of even, political destabilization financing.
Mr. Abambi, can you defend all that you have? Can you defend all that you have? Because we have to wrap up. Can you defend all that you have claimed in court?
I said, I just gave you an example. When you call them, this is a public document. Let them bring it. That, oh, look at what we used to open the account. Look at the letter the party. Obi will never provide it.
No, that's not the response to what I asked. What I asked is, can you defend what you just said in court?
I'm just giving you an example. I said that.
I'm asking for a yes or a no. Can you defend it in court?
See, I have been involved in over 893.
Okay, I want to believe. Okay, so
I will defend them. They even be charged for treason.
All right, that's all I wanted to confirm.
I will defend it, and they will be charged for treason.
We'll try as much as possible to get the Nadi Usman's camp to join us. Hopefully,
Nadi will not know much. Nadi will not know much. Those people that knows, call Itwa Godado, call Aisha Yusufu, call Oshutokun and Peter Obi. Those are the people that were involved in the massive fraud in that account.
All right.
Okay.
We can just open your phone lines, okay?
We will not know anything about it.
All right, just open your phone lines.
Thank you very much for joining us. Just to mention that the thoughts that have been expressed here are not our thoughts here on News Central. They're the thoughts of Mr. Ayobami, and he said that he's willing to defend them in court. And we look forward to hearing a response from the Senator Nadi Usman-led side of the divide. But thank you so much for your time with us this morning on Breakfast Central.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Quite an intense conversation. We're going to break, and when we come back, we're delving into another conversation. We have lawyer Inibehe Effiong joining us for the next conversation on the constitutional amendment. Stay with us.
The National Assembly's latest attempt to amend the 1999 Constitution has raised concerns. The National Assembly conducted zonal public hearings across the country, focusing on issues like state police, judicial reform, local government autonomy, and women's political representation, but skepticism about its intentions run deep.
While lawmakers say it's a step toward reform, critics argue that it's just another political performance. Some even call it a jamboree with no real substance, as many Nigerians feel past amendments failed to address core governance problems. One of such Nigerians is former Minister of Education and Chief Executive Officer of Human Capital Africa, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who knocked the National Assembly yesterday over its efforts in the ongoing constitutional amendment, describing it as a charade and a conduit pipe to waste public funds. Well, joining us this morning to get more reactions and deeper insight into this ongoing constitutional amendment review process is fundamental human rights lawyer and human rights activist Inibehe Effiong. Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Good morning. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Do you share the same sentiments with Dr. Obi Ezekwesili?
Entirely. My own sentiment is actually stronger. If you ask me, I believe that what is going on is a Ponzi scheme. What the National Assembly is embarking on is a Ponzi scheme. And I'm saying that because it has now become clear to Nigerians that what they term as constitutional amendment or constitutional amendment has become a quick, a very fat cow. It means of accumulation of resources. Every National Assembly in the last few dispensations that we have had has embarked on proposed constitutional amendments. Why do you think it is so? The reason why every Senate President, every Speaker of the House of Representatives that is sworn in has constitutional amendment as part of its cardinal legislative agenda is because a lot of money is voted for this purpose. National Assembly members accumulate significant resources. Significant resources. Billions have been dissipated year after year, cycle after cycle, dispensation after dispensation, in the name of amending the Constitution. What this speaks to is that we have a political class that knows that this piecemeal, periodic attempts at addressing the structural imbalances, reform of institutions and our government system is simply not workable. So why not simply solve the matter from the roots? I do not believe that, in the first place, that this current National Assembly, the current crop of legislators that we have, is capable of giving Nigerians a constitution that addresses the issues that matters to the Nigerian people. I do not believe that a National Assembly headed by Senator Godswill Akpabio and Speaker Bass is capable of addressing even the nature of the National Assembly itself. Whether, for example, we should have a unicameral legislature or we should continue with this bicameral legislature that has basically become a money-wasting venture for the country. So the point I am making is that instead of going around the cycles, every 4 years they introduce bills, and you say one of the annoying things. Now they keep hearing proposals for state creation. They are using these things to speak to the sentiments of people who are clearly misinformed. That the problem of Nigeria is state creation. So when they go to the east, some people will come out and say they want new state. Even in my home state, Akwa Ibom, of about 5 million people that has so much money and they are struggling, they don't even know what to do with the money, they are stealing the money, and yet some people say they want to create a new state in Akwa Ibom. You go to other parts of the country, every state in Nigeria now is agitating for state creation. Why are they doing that? Because the National Assembly has given them state, Nigeria the platform to say, come and tell us your problem. We are going to solve it. At the end of the day, they just allow a few bills, a few, adjustment here and there. Why not simply go for a new constitution? It is clearly insane. There is no serious republic in the world. There is no democracy, I challenge you, in any country that democracy is thriving, that institutions are working, that parliament is effective, that you will be having constitutional amendment every 4 years. Because the constitution is a grown norm of the country. It is what we lawyers call the Fons Etorico. It speaks to the very existence of a country, the system of government. It is such a sacred document. It is not something that you tinker with every legislative cycle. It is not something you tinker with. So why do we keep having bills upon bills every 4 years to amend the constitution? Because, as I said, it is now looking like a Ponzi scheme to them. They know they can make so much money. They know nobody is asking them to account for the budget of the National Assembly for constitutional amendment. Let us have a new constitution.
What would the implication of having a new constitution be, or what would it entail for us to start? And I hear you, because I hear people who put forth this argument that you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. But what would it take for us to start afresh?
The 1999 constitution that we have now is actually a military decree, Decree 24, introduced by Abdulsalami Abubakar during transitioning to military rule. It was introduced in 1998, of course, took effect when Obasanjo came into office. This is a constitution that tells a lie about itself. This is a document that was imposed on the Nigerian people. And it proclaims that we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Who is the we?
Were we all in agreement?
Who are the people? Where did the people congregate?
Okay.
To introduce and base this constitution. So if you are going to address the meat of the matter, the gist of the case, you have to go to from the beginning. That since this document, and let's foremost constitutional experts and lawyer in Africa, the eminent Benmu Abueze, God bless his soul, has spoken to this matter eloquently. That look, all you simply have to do is, because Decree 24, this document called 1999 Constitution was bettered by military decree. You simply speak to that decree by amending that, revoke that decree. So what the National Assembly has to simply do is to introduce a bill, basically to alter Decree 24 that brought in the Constitution, and then allow Nigerians to have a brand new constitution. Under Jonathan, they had what they call a national conference. We have had several conferences. Even the report of the national conference that President Goodluck Jonathan, government brought into being, what has happened to it? They are not ready to address the real issues. Can you imagine the hypocrisy that they are speaking about constitutional amendments? They are not even talking about the amendment of the Electoral Act. They are not speaking about electronic transmission of results. They are not speaking about the process of appointment of the chairman of INEC. They are not speaking about the integrity of votes. These are issues that Nigerians are yearning for as we glamour 2 years to election. They've started campaigns already. And you are telling me this parliament wants to do constitutional amendment. What are they going to amend? This is just an attempt to distract Nigerians. I do not believe that this piecemeal thing they are doing here and there is going to solve our problem. If we are going to really go to the heart of the issue, Nigeria must have a new constitution. The current constitution is unworkable. The framework, the governance structure, the way the presidential system is, it is simply impracticable. We have to not just tinker with it. We have to fundamentally alter it. And how you do that is not that every 4 years they vote billions for themselves and say they want to amend the constitution. Let us have a new constitution where the input of the people will actually be taken into consideration, where the documents will actually be a product of the Nigerian people. Look at the judiciary, for example. One of the issues that we have with this current constitution is even the institution of the judiciary. As I'm speaking to you now, if I have a problem with my landlord in Lagos over rent increment and the landlord says, I want you to leave my house, I can choose to fight up to the Supreme Court in Abuja. And that can take 25 years. So whereas people are even asking, do we need one Supreme Court? Do we need regional Supreme Courts? Why should we have 109 people in the Senate, 360 people in the House of Reps? Simply doing what? Earning over 30 million per month, not accounting for their constituents, inflating and padding the budget, approving abominable loans. The reason why this impunity is going on in the National Assembly and in the executive arm of government is because the 1999 Constitution is fundamentally flawed. And these people that they are saying they want to amend the Constitution, they will not amend the Constitution against their own interests. So if you are going to have a Constitution that will truly, truly represent the collective aspirations of the Nigerian people, that Constitution must have legitimacy from the Nigerian people.
Well, the Patriots recently met again, led by Chief Emeka Nyaku, and the directive was that they wanted to see how they can proffer solutions, ideas to some of the things that needs to be added to the Constitution. Do you see them making any headway? Because remember that they had met years ago. Yes. And in their initial meeting, very little or none was even effected in terms of applying it in the Nigerian Constitution. And now they're about to, they just finished meeting. And they've had these conversations severally, and then they say they want to assent or push what they've discussed, especially to the National Assembly and then to Mr. President.
Well, I know members of the Patriots, please, some members. Some of them are people of good standing, people who have earned reputation for themselves over the years. But if you have a group, an association, named the Patriots, that is believed by its own aspirations, by its own mandate, to be constituted by patriotic Nigerians. So can a group named the Patriots make patriotic proposals to a non-patriotic government? And would the government implement patriotic recommendations? You have the Patriots, a group.
That question.
No, I'm answering the question. I'm answering it now.
Okay, please.
You have a group named the Patriots that has made certain patriotic recommendations to a non-patriotic regime. So I simply, look, I commend their courage to put some of these reforms in place. But you see, some of us have gotten to a point that we have become very realistic about the reality of the Nigerian situation, which is that if you speak to the now, the urgency of now, the Tinubu regime or the Tinubu administration is not a patriotic government by any indication. So you are not going to convince me that this government will listen to a group called the Patriots that are making patriotic recommendations. As I'm talking to you, while we are even talking about constitutional amendments, Tinubu has been in power for 2 years. A man that we were told was fighting for federalism while he was governor of Lagos State, that was taking President Obasanjo to court on almost every issue, local government, autonomy, taxation, and so on. He has been in office for 2 years. How many executive bills? Tell me 2 executive bills that this president has sent to the National Assembly to address the flawed federal system that we have. Because he's now a beneficiary of the unitary system. Tinubu, who claimed to be a federalist, where are the bills, the executive bills by the Tinubu regime to restore Nigeria to the path of true federalism? I have not seen it. So, what are we talking about? The point I am making is that, look, let us not be simplistic about the Nigerian situation. This is a grave matter that requires real, urgent, fundamental measures. And I've always proposed that, look, the point that we are today, I do not believe that we are going to have changes through cosmetic reforms. It is so bad. It is so deep. The rot has become very pervasive. So even when you come out and begin to make proposals, oh, affirmative action, let's have 30% women in National Assembly. Which National Assembly? The one that Senator Natasha has not been allowed to resume, a Senate that has barely 3 to 4 female senators. How many do we have in the House of Reps? And you are saying that you want to bring constitutional amendment for affirmative action.
And herein lies the problem in Ibehe, because you've highlighted the major challenges of not just this 10th Assembly. You know, these are problems we've seen with everyone. With the last Assembly, they call them rubber stamp as well. And you've said here that what we need to do is a complete overhaul of what is existing. And you do not believe that the current Assembly has what it takes to be able to ensure that they start afresh, because it will be against their own interests. Will we ever have an assembly that will ever think, you know, this thing is going to be against our interests, but for the benefit of our nation? So let's go ahead and do this. So are we just really building castles in the air when we're saying, or when you and, you know, many other people are saying, we want a fresh constitution?
Yes.
Is it not just like building castles in the air?
Well, the solution is still the electoral process, the leadership recruitment process. Anybody that is expecting the 10th National Assembly to bring about the changes that we want in our country today is living in denial.
But even the 11th, there's no guarantee that the 11th, if they bring it up, will be able to...
Yes, but I'm even saying let's speak to the president, because you have to look at the president before. You need the 10th National Assembly to bring in place electoral reforms that possibly in the next 2 years, we can begin to see some changes in terms of having sane people. It is simply indescribable, the abomination that these people are committing. It is looking as if the 10th National Assembly entered into a blood covenant with President Tinubu to undermine the interests of the Nigerian people. That the president will make every outrageous request, they will simply approve it. He's demanding for loans, they are approving it, they are not questioning it. Look at the observation that Senator Nengi made. Senator Nengi, look at the observations. You are asking for loans approvals for development in states. You are not even specifying the states. You are not specifying what amount is going to what state for what project. You are saying you want this amount of money, you want to collect loans for security. You are not speaking specifically to the things that you want to do.
Yeah,
that is why I am telling you that, look, with this current state National Assembly, it is a complete state of hopelessness for the Nigerian people. These people are insufferable. These people are irredeemable, and that is the verdict that some of us have reached, because we know the characters that are running this National Assembly. Let us stop pretending that, look, they will wake up one day and find this Senate, find the House of Reps, begin to really care about it. They do not care about us. They do not listen to us. They do not feel the pulse of the Nigerian people. That is why they cannot speak to the issues that matter. That is why 2 years after, the legislative agenda of the 10th National Assembly still remains in mystery. And I keep telling you that, look, if you are going to have significant constitutional reform, the president must key in. Because by the law now, the president has to sign to every constitutional amendment bill. Tinubu in the last 2 years has not sent a single, I challenge anyone, one executive bill to the National Assembly that is capable of addressing the structural defects in our country. And that is a man they are telling us, you know, the revisionist historians are telling us that he fought, he was in Nadeko, he was fighting Abacha. What is his legacy today? He's continuing from the same path of dictatorship. You cannot be saying you want to change Nigeria, you are a federalist, and so on. You did this, what have you done? 2 years has gone. By next year now, they're already in full election mode. It is an embarrassment. They're full election mode.
Well, some of the senators would argue and say that at least they've passed some bills. For instance, the tax reform bills, the administration bill.
Yes.
That's like a major win for especially this administration. And that bill will make a lot of changes. And some have said that, in short, the Patriots also said that they're going to propose to the president to pass one executive bill focusing on the elections to ensure that there's election reforms, especially in the selection off an INEC boss to ensure that it is independent, not independent to the president. Let's look at some of these bills that they would argue with you and say, at least we've done something. It's not that we're just keeping our hands closed and hoping that Nigerians should wait some more. They said they have more years to go, regardless of the fact that they have 2 more years. They said they have more years to go and that they are certain that they will do some more. Don't you think Nigerians should be patient, like they call for patience?
Well, I think asking Nigerians to be patient is an incitement. You are telling people to be patient with what we are going through. You are inciting people to respond in a certain way that nobody may be able to checkmate. I don't want to hear anything about patience. I personally had lost my patience many years ago. Which patience? I mean, you are speaking about tax reform because you have a tax master as president. Look at his legacy in Lagos. They keep telling us when he came in, the IGR was maybe 8 billion, and then before he left, it was 100 billion. Tinubu has a history of taxing people to death. So if he don't reform, the area that interests him is taxation, why are you surprised? The question is, what are they going to do with the tax? He came in without even policy intelligence, without holding one Federal Executive Council meeting, without even having any meeting with stakeholders. Subsidy gone. He threw the country into ruins, disrupted the market. Inflation skyrocketed and the whole system grumbled. Till today, Nigeria has not recovered from that reckless statement. What is the point I am making? The money that they have made from subsidy, can you tell us today what they have done with it?
They say the money, let me explain. I always have the answers to that question, and that's because we've interviewed a lot of APC representatives, spokesperson, and so on, and they always give the same answer, which I have readily available. One, they said the monies are being used for the governors. The governors now earn more money. They've ensured that the money has been shared to the governors through FAC, and then the governors have more money. In that way, that's where the subsidy has gone to. Then part of the money, they're also using it for infrastructural development. Okay, like the Lagos,
namely
Lagos Calabar road. That's one. They also talked about the one in the north, which they need to complete, the Kaduna Lokoja road. That these are where the monies are going to.
No, that is not factually correct.
That's what we have
Lagos,
here when we
is it not the same road? They are
Coastal Road.
Coastal Road. The visionless road. They are collecting loans to construct. In a country that, as I'm talking to you, nurses are on strike. In a country that we're having this conversation, university lecturers are threatening to go on strike. In a country that, as I'm talking to you, the minimum wage can barely buy a bag of rice. In a country that basic services are barely available, you are building a coastal road. This is a government that needs to really think about where it's taking the people to. Because as far as I'm concerned, I do not see any point in this. They said, oh, they've given more money to the governors. They steal, of course. The governors are stealing more. The governors are, and you can see the wastages. You know, they are buying more, they are increasing vehicles in their convoy. They are just dissipating the money. And it is not true that it's only governors that are benefiting. Because by virtue of the Constitution, Section 81 and Section 162, every money that is starting to the credit of the Federation is distributed. So the distributable pool account, the percentage goes to the federal government, goes to the state and the local government. So what has the federal government or the central government done with its own percentage of the money they made from subsidy?
Road.
For the states. Which road?
The FCT. The minister is constructing.
The one that is giving 30 billion to renovate International Worship Center, that air conditioners are not working. Look, the way things are in this country, the way we are going, I think they keep pushing Nigerians that, look, will they reach a breaking point? What is their breaking point? They are testing the elastic limit of the Nigerian people. Because every single day they are aggravating our sorrow. They are compounding our suffering. And they are doing it to our faces. This government cannot account for the money they have made from subsidy.
Serap has been asking for a detailed published report from the government to explain what they have done with 400 billion naira that is, allegedly saved from all of that. And I mean, what the next steps are, we really don't know as the people. If you say that what they're doing with the National Assembly is a waste of time, it's like, what next?
It looks like a Ponzi scheme.
Okay,
yes, that is the way it looks for me, because why is it every 4 years?
So let's hope that the National Assembly shocks us. It's in our interest that they shock us positively.
And then they listen to the patriots who have equally are ready to push.
I said the patriots, part of the problem Tinubu has is the name. He doesn't like the name. the patriots. It makes him uncomfortable.
But he has never said so.
Well, you can see it now. Go and watch his reaction to them. Is it the first time they are meeting him? I said the president is not comfortable with the name. I mean, I know a few persons that I may have to talk to them. That maybe when you are going to meet the president, don't use the word the patriots. Because if you are going as a group under the auspices named the patriots, and you are speaking to the president who is clearly unpatriotic, who has been doing unpatriotic things, he will have problem listening to you. His auditory capacity has been impaired by merely listening to the name the patriots. And I'm being serious about it because you cannot speak patriotic language to an unpatriotic regime. That is the problem that the patriot has.
All right. Nibehef Young, thank you for joining us this morning and for always showing up when we call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's now bring you breakfast headlines, and then we'll let you know what's coming up next on Breakfast Central after this.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us. It's Breakfast Central. Let's move away from that explosive conversation now and go straight to our biggest stories making the headlines this morning. A crisis seems to be brewing in the Coalition Action Democratic Congress, also known as ADC, as the deputy national chairman of the party, one from a factional group, they say. Nasiru Bala says that he has assumed the position of the acting national chairman of the party, following claims that the duly elected chairman and several members of the executive committee of the party have resigned. Balawa, speaking to newsmen in Abuja, says that claims that members of the coalition have already assigned themselves national positions is false, illegal, and cannot stand, as many of them have not been duly registered with the party. He called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to disregard their claims.
Our constitution of the party is very clear. No outsider can come on the same day, and if you are personally decided to resign your position, you cannot take somebody outside the party, is not even the party member, on the same day he is unveiling himself as a party member to transfer power to him. It's unconstitutional. It's against the Electoral Act. It's against our party constitution. Our stand is, as a deputy national chairman, duly elected during the last conventions in Zaria, held in Zaria, I resume office as an acting national chairman of the party, pending next convention.
And that's the new acting national chairman of the ADC. Meanwhile, a faction of the River State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has called on the newly appointed national chairman of the party, Nentawe Yilwada, to recognize the leadership of Emeka Bekee as the legitimate APC chairman of the state. Bekee and his factional secretary Sam Etetegwang say they have informed the national leadership of the party of a subsisting court judgment that affirms his position as the authentic state party chairperson. The faction is also urging the national chairman to suspend any local government primaries being organized by the Okocha-led group, insisting that such processes should be conducted under the supervision of the Emeka Bekee-led executive committee, which they described as the legally recognized executive.
I was duly elected as chairman of this great party. As secretary of the party, after secretary of the party to tenure, I became the chairman of the party. And today we are here to congratulate our chairman, who has been elected as the national chairman of our great party, and to put our complaint to the national chairman of the party. Because some kangaroo thing happened in this party which we suffered and built up. They said we are expelled from the party, but we went to the court to get a judgment. Up till date, those judgments have not been vacated by any court. And they've been inviting Mr. Tony Kocha to attend meetings of the chairman, and that's why we're here to complain. We have all the document, we have the judgment, we have everything that is here for us to come and submit to the new national chairman, and to make sure that the National Working Committee of this our great party should look into those things. We are committed and we are strong to stand with APC.
In the meantime, the lawmaker representing Plateau South Senatorial District, Simon Lalong, has commended the emergence of a new national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Nentawe Yilwada, saying that his nomination and subsequent appointment brings fresh prospects for the party's success ahead of future elections. Lalong, who spoke during a solidarity visit alongside other Plateau State Party members to the APC national headquarters, says Yilwate's leadership signals a new direction that aligns with the nation's evolving political landscape. Also speaking, former Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Tallinn expressed optimism about the success of the new leadership, describing it as a symbol of hope for the APC.
He was already in humanitarian working when the issue of the national chairmanship came up. So anybody placed in that kind of position, rising to the level of the national chairman, he won't say that he's a new person in politics again. He has known part of the executive. He has also known part of the executive in the working with Mr. President. He has known even the art of elections because he has conducted several elections in Nigeria. So when you talk about party, you are talking about election. So what is it about election that an electoral officer does not know? So if he knows it is an added advantage to this party.
We are not afraid of those leaving the party because we know more are coming. On the plateau, a lot of all other parties, including the ruling party in the state, are decamping to us. That is a good sign. And the coming of the national chairman will open more doors of greater things for Mr. President.
Former Chief of Policy and Plans, Nigerian Army Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, has blamed weak governance as the root cause and catalyst for issues of insecurity in Benue, Plateau, and other states of the Middle Belt. Adeosun stated this while delivering the first distinguished lecture of the Center for Peace and Security Studies, Lagos State University, with the theme Strategies for Tackling Insecurity in the Middle Belt and Inside Its Perspective. Adeosun said weak governance is evident in the failure of government institutions to manage ethnic and communal tensions, regulate land and resource use, and respond to violence in a timely and impartial manner.
Thank you very much for joining us. Let's now bring you breakfast headlines, or rather, newspaper front pages. Shows just concluded breakfast headlines, and we have Dotun Ojo in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Happy weekend to you.
Yeah.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend, sir.
Happy weekend.
And you do both hands like this. Happy weekend, sir.
Anything for the girls?
With a stamp of the right leg.
You know, when those very, our interesting family and friends see me on the road and they greet me, before they greet me, I say, happy weekend, sir. Anything for the girls?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, let's get into it. This morning we're starting off with the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch, marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. Nogasa, Petron, Taku, Dangote. Petrol surges to 870 naira at private depot amid feud. I'm just tired. Every day this fuel petrol price is just going back and forth. Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendments, as Ekwesili says. Recovery ongoing in 1.3 trillion naira CBEX Ponzi collapse, according to EFCC. So if they recover the money, who will get money and who wouldn't get?
Like 500 million people will show up.
Exactly. Even people who know invest for CBEX.
I put my money there.
I invested. Ondo, ADC vows to challenge Aida Tiwa's appeal court victory. How suspected ritualist dismembered my 16-year-old son. Wow, this is sad. According to an Ogun driver, Oyo budget hits 984 billion naira after 299.8 billion naira supplementary bill. Nigeria, Ghana hold talks over anti-Nigerian protests. 2027 defections stir tension as APC ADC locks horn. Government's FX windfall crashes 73% to 589 billion naira in the first half, H1. And finally, FEC. Federal government approves 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, and others. I want you to start with the conversation we had earlier with Inibehe, because I know that you're into leadership governance and that's something that you're passionate about. The need for a new constitution. National Assembly is currently proposing a constitutional amendment exercise is ongoing. Inibehe Fiong joined us and he said clearly that he thinks it's an effort in futility, a waste of time.
Calls it a Ponzi scheme.
Exactly. He agrees with Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. And this is, of course, based on the saying that you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. So, I don't know, do you agree with us doing a total overhaul? He's saying we should call for a complete overhaul of the Constitution, ask for a completely fresh constitution as opposed to reviewing what currently exists?
Okay, so your constitution is directly tied to your mindset. So when you see the constitution of a nation, you can read what the mindset of the nation is. Now, as long as there's no change of mindset, change of constitution will not give us the desired result. And this is what I mean. The good in the present constitution, how far have we gone with it? So and what is the probability that when we have a fresh constitution, a people-friendly constitution, that we are still going to have people who will abide by it? And I love the way you put it. Passionate about leadership simply because of the fact that I know that virtually everything rises and falls on leadership. For instance, I have walked on the streets of Lagos and I've seen the commendation that New Central is getting. And it's a product of pure leadership. And I'm extremely impressed. It's not just a subject of the books, it's a subject of leadership mindset. So when we overhaul our constitution, what is the probability that there's going to be a change of mindset? For example, I have always said it. Looking at Nigeria's situation, I spent 22 years to study the country. I have come to the conclusion that most of the times we do not need new law. We only need new logic and commitment of people who will say that they are going to sit down and do what the book says. For instance, we've always heard that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But as we have it today, the politicians have infested the judiciary to the point that even the judgments that are coming out of our court now, they are not direct enough, giving everybody an opportunity to give different interpretation. So I like the fact that people have advocated for a new constitution, which is fantastic. But beyond that, we must know that the problem we have in Nigeria is not with the books, it's with the people.
Well, it's anyway.
So that means you don't really care much about the
I just want people to be committed to what we have now. Let us do the books that we have now. Let there be consequence for anybody that goes against the book that we have now. Let us pay attention to the book. Now what we have is that everybody is just doing anything that pleases them. What's the probability that when we now have a new one, that they will not do the same thing? Because you are just not going to change your politicians. They are going to be here for a long while.
A long while, you say. FEC, federal government approved 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, others. What's your take?
Okay, so I think over 700 billion naira was approved for the overhaul. You talk about the overhaul of the airport, and they said that the international airport here in Lagos, and they said that it's totally different from what we've seen. We don't want patches and all of that. They want to actually bring it down to the carcass and rebuild. And for me, I've always advocated that the greatest money that will come into your country will come from the seaport. But the decision for that business will happen at the airport. When people land at your airport, your international airport particularly, it tests of the seriousness of your country and your community. You cannot continue to leave your airport anyhow and say you are developing. The concept of perception is more important than the concept of performance. And there's no better way to create perception than what you do with your airport. And I did a research. Beyond the refurbishment, beyond the rebuilding, there's a deliberate, and I'm going back to the issue of mindset, there must be a deliberate effort to match the behavior of the people at the airport, the officials at the airport, with the newness that we expect after 22 months of this project. What do I mean? I'm still on a research now, and I'm just going to talk a bit about it because I'll conclude it by December with, when I travel to Morocco. I picked 4 countries across Africa, picked from the south, from the west, and all of that, to say, okay, how do these people behave in the airport? I chose Nigeria. I chose Rwanda. I chose South Africa. This is what I found out in the last 3 months. Every step all the way in your process of going out of the country, somebody is begging you for money. We cannot have that, maintain that kind of mindset with a new airport. And I got to Rwanda, it was a direct opposite. Because I deliberately went to the official to seek for help. I was not supposed to enter their country to sleep that night, but I deliberately went there. They helped me without asking for anything. In our case in Nigeria, people ask you for not doing you
anything for us.
Well, they give
constantly
you in the bathroom.
Constantly, we have this terrible. And I was in South Africa. Now, it was in between. I discovered that the person that asked me for arm, allow me to call it arm, is the sweeper. It's totally different from the situation where somebody with high rank here is begging you for money. So I'm waiting to see the outcome of Morocco. What I'm saying in essence is that when we mention all of this money, we should not make the mistake some of our people made to think that what we turn our life around is actually the overhaul of the infrastructure. We must also pay attention. So when I see the budgetary provision for construction, I want to also see budgetary provision for reorientation of the people that are going to man some of this investment that we're having. 700 billion is a lot of money. It's a whole lot of money. In fact, it's big enough to fund any state in Nigeria for an entire 1 year. So for a project like that, we want to see that at the end of the day, it brings out the result. And the result is, number one, it must be the kind of airport that everybody wants to see. Number two, apart from the structure, we must see that it is completed within this 22 months. Because I have said it repeatedly, that one of the problems we have in Nigeria is the fact that we are not actually, what do they call this thing? We stroll on the path of purpose. They've been building certain road now, the East-West Road, since 2006. We are still struggling with it. So we do not want to see all of that.
There's
we
no continuity.
Want the commitment to actually to show at the end.
Well, that project committed, we're seeing here. I mean, if you refer to that, on the front page of the Punch, it says federal government approves 3.5 trillion naira for roads, airports, and others.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at what is allocated to the airport alone, it's reflected on this day new paper, 712 billion naira for full rehabilitation of Lagos Airport Terminal 1. Yeah. And we're seeing here that the project will be executed within 22 months.
22 months, sorry.
Yes, and they okayed 213.7 billion naira for electrification of universities, rural communities. They award multi-billion naira projects nationwide. They've approved new oncology center for Ibadan, which is great, and they moved to address nurses' ongoing industrial action. Nurses have been on strike.
What about the doctors?
Yes, I mean, that's another one. Yesterday, we had the Nurses and Midwives Association saying that they had another couple of days strike. They had just come back from, I think, a 15-day strike. So they had another strike that they were embarking on because of, again, the same cries, poor welfare, not feeling prioritized, and, you know, still the same arguments again. But let's hope that in the next 22 months, we'll have a different story to tell with regards to the airport.
Yeah, because one of the things that we've noticed, that I have noticed in government is that there's a big gap between approval and the availability of funds. The FEC can actually approve now. It has to be supported with funds by the Ministry of Finance, as the case is in our case here. And my experience has shown that most of the times when you have this approval, the minister will now begin to chase his counterpart in the Ministry of Finance to be able to back it with money. And I said it that if government is not ready, if we do not have the resources, we should not announce project approval. So we hope that all of these things will be sorted. On the issue of strike, nurses strike, I think I was here the other day and I gave a solution to how we can retain our doctor. In furtherance to that, we must also know that when you have workers that have alternative, you must treat them better. As we speak now, nurses and doctors have very strong alternatives across the world. And since 2020, the health system across the world has been challenged. I don't know whether you are aware of that. Yeah. And that gives room for competent people to be able to go out of the country and work. And we have competent nurses in Nigeria. So we must continue to take a second look at their welfare so that at least without the nurses, you cannot run the hospitals.
Okay. Let's go to another paper very quick. Okay, Olive,
Nigerian
you had highlighted this day already.
Yes, yeah, we've run through
There's a story there. NEC targets economic stimulus for over 8.8 billion people in 8,809 wards across Nigeria. Now look at this. Set to peak at least 1,000 beneficiaries per ward nationwide.
How do they select who these people are?
Okay, so in fairness, I want to pray for whosoever brought up this idea, that God will bless him, God will bless the president. I also want to pray that God will touch their hearts, that they will not politicize it. See, this one, this thing we are looking at here, has the power to change our economy. The target of this government is to have a $1 trillion economy by 2030. From 2025 now, for you to have that, that means that you must grow your economy 15% every year between now and 2030. As we speak now, our growth rate is below 4%. So that means that they have a lot of work to do. But this particular one, there are 8,809 wards in Nigeria, spread across the 774 local governments. And the ward is the nearest, what's it called, political center to the people, apart from the polling unit, because the ward produces a councillor. Now, when you look at it, when somebody argues that Nigeria is too big to be developed, the other argument will be that if you conduct election across the 8,809 political wards in Nigeria, then that means that the government knows these places. And the only way to actually develop your economy is to allocate resources to people living in these places. So that's why I think this is one of the best decisions of this government. And they said that for big wards, they are going to reach out to about 2,000 people, and for smaller wards, they reach out to 1,000 people. And there's a caveat to that. They said that they are only going to reach out to people that are economically active. It means that people who have businesses, people who have entrepreneurial spirit, people who have agricultural potential, these are the people they are going to reach out to. If they do this and they allocate funds, you will see that there will be a direct effect on our national economy in terms of growth. But here's the fear. 8,809 wards have what they call political leaders, which is what happened during COVID. So when they ask them to pick name, it is not the president that is coming to my ward. My state has about 203 political wards. It's not the president that will come to my ward. No. He will first rely on the governor. The governor will rely on the local government chairman. The local government chairman will rely on councillors. And by the time they compile all of this name, you discover that 80 to 90% of them will be from one political party. That's the experience we have had. But now we are believing that because they put a caveat to that, it's not just anyhow person, it's not the normal empowerment that we have seen, that it is for people that are economically active. We are believing that at the end of this Renew Hope, they call it Renew Hope something word, I forgot the name they call it, that at the end of the day, that this will pump something very reasonable into our economy and that our economy will grow. I really, really love it, and I commend the government for it.
All right, we'll take your word for it. I mean, you've said it that you love it. I mean, you've also gone into an election cycle before, so you understand how it trickles down. But like you also highlighted, one of the major fears is that who will select these people when it comes to the local government councillor? How will they select them? Will it be based on the fact that there's always ethnic coloration? Oh, you're not from this place, do you speak this, and so on. But wait till we get there. Let's also wait for the nurses. I like the fact that the nurses have been highlighted
addressed, yes.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, it also shows that yesterday our data was not wrong when we highlighted our data during the papers of health. So maybe the president is listening. Yeah. Let's go to the paper.
Nigerian Tribune will be our final paper this morning. The big story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. FEC approves 145 billion naira electrification projects for Unilag, UI, UNN, others. OK's 68.7 billion naira for second phase of solar power for rural agri centers. Approves 3.7 billion naira for upgrade of oncology center in UCH. Foreign Affairs Minister in Ghana amid deportation threat on Nigerians. We'll come back to talk on that story. Tinubu extends Adeni's tenure as customs CG. Ilorin cleric who killed female student to die by hanging. Wow. Then in the health section, there's new cases of skin cancer in people with weakened immunity, according to experts. Iwada's experience as REC added advantage for APC, according to Lalong. We want better salaries, not loans, ASU tells federal government. Appeal court affirms Aida Tiwa's election as governor. 44th Olubadan, Lajaja expected in Ibadan weekend. Olubadan in council meets Monday. Nigeria, influential nation of unlimited. Nigeria, influential nation of unlimited possibilities, U.S. government says. And PDP faults arbitrary street renaming in Lagos, threatens legal action. If you go also back to the front page of the the Punch newspaper, you can see on the front page of the Punch, right beside the name, you will see Nigeria-Ghana hold talks over anti-Nigerian protests. And you see a picture of Bianca Ojukwu, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. She has appealed for calm following calls by some Ghanaians for the deportation of Nigerians from the country. A statement on Thursday by our Special Assistant on Communication and New Media, Magnus Eze, said that she spoke during a joint press conference with Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Ablakwa in Accra on Wednesday. She said that the viral videos depicting protests had raised concerns in Nigeria, prompting President Bola Tinubu to dispatch her as a special envoy to assess the situation firsthand. She also said that we're here in the Republic of Ghana on a fact-finding mission as special envoy of President Bola Tinubu as a result of recent disturbances that have made the round in Nigeria. And she's announced that things have been brought to account. Why does this keep happening? Now, Ghana, that are our cousins, we're hearing now there's potential protest. South Africa, it almost feels like there's an opportunity. Joe, remember the name of this operation Tudula in South Africa, saying that foreigners, I mean, those ones are not particularly targeted at Nigerians, but we've seen in some places.
No, I peeped into the protest. They actually mentioned Nigerians and Zimbabweans. Those are the two
Africans.
Yeah,
also,
so
yeah.
I peeped it.
What did we do to them?
So now, here's it. When your country knows the implication of, when one country knows the implication of dealing with another country's citizen, for example, if they know the benefit that comes with our citizen residing there, nobody will want to touch you. Have you wondered why Americans are all over the places and we almost, either they're black or white, we almost create a separate space for them? It's because they are throwing their weight around. So we are the giant of Africa, and it's about time for us to wake up. And also to our fellow Nigerians, when you go out of the country, please be a good ambassador of your country. That's also very important, because we have also seen cases of people go out of their country and they try to cut corner and all of that. But in this case now, I think we must begin to deliberately rebrand ourselves by throwing our weight around.
But this rebranding conversation has been on for a long time.
Yes.
But it seems like it's not really working.
It will work. Our story should not be our frustration. We'll continue to try as long as we know that this is the way to go. See, you cannot leave your country like this and expect anybody to respect you. When you mention the name of Nigerian government, for example, and it's not about what they are doing now or what they are not doing. It's about the fact that the conception or the misconception people have is that of corruption. They think that we are not a serious-minded people. And the only cure from that is when the government sits firm and everybody can see that this government is actually doing for the people. I was asking my friend who relocated abroad, I said, how much will you have for you to jackpot? And when, and when he told me, I looked at it and I said, this is a reasonable figure. That if everything is working in Nigeria, if you are not afraid that somebody is going to come to your house and kidnap you, people will come back home and make something out of their life within our country. So beyond even building road, the essence of government is to tell the people that you are safe and secure here.
Does the federal government always also think, I mean, we're the most populous black nation, and everywhere we go to, we always stamp our feet and put our mark there, because aside from Ghana complaining, there's South Africa, there are other countries you find Nigerians where they say when we come, we dominate, because that's what we are, that's what we know how to do best. Imagine if all those who dominate are here, resided here in Nigeria. I'm sure we have the potential to be like China and the likes.
Yes.
But anyway, what's your last take on that?
Okay, so we do not even need, all of us do not even need to reside here. But the good thing about it is that if we know that home is an alternative, if we travel abroad and we are certain that we can actually go back home and be safe, that's all we need. We do not need, all of us do not need to come back. The level of desperation that Nigerians display abroad, you pack them inside a bus, you want to go and deport them, they are jumping out of the window. The level of that desperation is because of the fact that they have thought or they've agreed that home is not an option.
It's not an option.
Just make here an option and let everybody go who wants to go and let everybody come who wants to come.
I hope that the presidency will also take note of that. I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Dr. John, for being here. Friday is always explosive with you, especially as we look through the papers. And we look forward to have you again sometime next week. By the way, it's August, so welcome to August.
Thank you. Happy New Month to you.
Anything for the boys. Entertainment Roundup is up next. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And it's Friday. We've said it's entertainment time. Oliver's here. And guess who's here as well? Well, guess who's back? It's Sam Dandy in the house.
Welcome back.
What's going on?
Welcome Yeah.
Take a round up.
It's a Friday. I'm always excited to be here.
Always excited to have you. And I love your pants. I'm sure, okay, they can see.
Yeah.
Reminds me of 101 Dalmatians.
I gotta be honest, everything I stole it from my wife's closet.
Oh, shout out to the wifey.
Okay.
Everything you do in this life, get a love, a partner, a husband or a wife.
I see.
Single people, let's
go ahead.
Please go ahead, Jerry.
Talking about love in Abuja, music legend Innocent Idibia, popular with Tubaba, tied the knot with Edo State lawmaker Natasha Osawaru in an intimate traditional ceremony. Now, the couple made headlines after Tubaba's separation from Annie back in January 2025, followed by a proposal on Valentine's Eve. Now, they recently held their Abuja rite in regal Edo attire, complete with coral beads and symbolic cultural trappings. Now, of course, there are mixed reactions about this one, but they look really nice. They look happy. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, this is a man's world. Is that not how they say it?
Congratulations.
You know? So I mean, it's listen. Criticize all you want. I keep saying this and I'll keep saying it. As long as you do not have details, full details of every social media makes us feel like we're judges. We know everybody's family. So no, I shouldn't have done this. You don't know Jack. So I mean, I don't have anything to say. I'm just saying if he's happy, he's good. Olive is like, Olive, what's the problem?
I don't really have, I say congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm saying the same thing. I mean, let people just live. I can't judge, I can't criticize. I don't know anything about what's going on.
Shasha.
In
Before
fact,
they
I
decide
don't
to
even
do
know.
God's wedding, you should better wait for his divorce to be finalized before they go and cash out on him and go and sue
Is
him
his divorce
for...
not finalized yet?
I don't know that it's finalized.
So we also don't know that one.
I think that, I mean, because it typically takes longer for divorce processes to be finalized in Nigeria. It takes longer.
I like that, the lawyer's perspective on this.
So, yeah, you should just wait. If what he had with Annie was a court wedding, I can't remember. I know we all were witnesses to their weddings. If he had a court wedding, he should just wait to, in fact, so there's another angle to this. In my head, all I kept thinking was his divorce finalized before he did the second marriage? That was the first thing, no, the second thing that came to my mind.
What's the first?
Don't ask, but congratulations to the happy couple.
Let's move to something more exciting. Netflix, Nigeria's latest crime thriller, To Kill a Monkey, of course, by ace filmmaker Kevin Atiba. It premiered on the 18th of July to critical acclaim. Now, the 8-episode series stars Williams Benson, Buchi Franklin, and Stella Damascus, and it's set around cybercrime. It's already topping local charts and drawing acclaim for, of course, Aditiba's storytelling flair. Now, this isn't her first top performer. Of course, we remember the award-winning King of Boys made serious waves around the world. And to be honest, right here on the show 3 years ago, we talked about To Kill a Monkey. Can you believe that?
Yes,
we talked about it.
Yeah, I remember.
Are you impressed by this?
So, can I just say that I feel so left out? Because I have a date today with my friend.
Okay.
We actually plan to have a date just to see To Kill a Monkey today. We want to go through it. I'm going to get through it. She's coming to my house. And we're sitting through the series. So I feel really left out that I can't speak much about it.
The producers are asking, can they join?
No, they cannot join.
Auntie I.
They have paid all of you salary. You should use your own money to go and buy food.
Don't loud it, relax.
But as I was saying, from the snippets that I have seen, what I can say is, before it even came out, when I heard the trailer, the first thing was the scoring. The music was incredibly beautiful. So Oscar did a fantastic job with scoring the music. And from the excerpts I could see, I'm really glad that Buchi Franklin is receiving his flowers. This man, I don't know why, I can't seem to remember his name now, this actor.
William Benson.
Yes.
We have him on the show today. Oh, I let the cat out the bag.
So, I mean, I look forward to seeing him in the movie because I've heard so many people say how brilliant an actor he is. And Buchi Franklin, this is not the first time we've seen Buchi Franklin. I've seen snippets as well. And I like the fact that I think Kemi is such a businesswoman. Beyond being a fantastic storyteller, I like what they've done with all the, what do they call those things? When you can, is it GIFs? Or stickers, you know, or in the Instagram comment section, the fact that they've rolled out a bundle of stickers from the movie on Instagram, I think that's also beautiful. They've gotten a few criticisms here and there. I saw a very vile criticism by a page that I will not mention, and I thought, calm down. That criticism looked sponsored, it looked bitter, it looked like it was from the pit of hell. If you see, no, you can have criticism, right? You can have a different opinion. Everybody must not like it. I always say that. You have a right to think. But even in dishing out that criticism, it's not with the kind of vile anger that I saw in that caption.
Not for a good project, you know?
I mean, no, to some people it might not be, and that's okay. But I haven't watched it, but me, I already like it. I think I'm biased.
I guess we'll find out after.
Well, there's something they also say that I do know of as sometimes in the industry, they always say if you don't have any critique, then you have a problem.
Everybody cannot like you, you're not ice cream.
Smoothly, then you should go back and check. That means you didn't do well. But if you have people coming to talk, Spider-Man, X-Men, named, everybody will always say, oh, but then again, I agree with you.
I gotta be honest, it's a good watch, so you might want to go check it out. No spoilers. I'm right like 30 minutes till the end completely of the entire thing.
I've been
revising it.
I am 3 episodes to the end.
Take your time.
How do you even watch film? Once I start, I must finish.
At least 1 month too.
1 month.
1 month. One movie.
Let's move from that one. All right.
All right. Let's go to something else.
Let's go to this one. During England's Euro 2025 victory parade outside Buckingham Palace, Afrobeat superstar Burna Boy made a surprise performance, shocking head coach Serena Wigman, who happens to be a big Burna Boy fan now. He performed the hit song For My Hand as the Dutch manager danced alongside over 65,000 fans as the Lionesses celebrated their 2nd consecutive Euro title. Now, when I saw this, I thought, no, they can't possibly like Afrobeats as much as we do, but how excited she was, I was like, oh my goodness. You know, of course, we love to see people celebrate and dance to Afrobeats, but
yeah,
this was, let's watch a bit of this.
Let's watch a bit.
Aww.
Moment, you were there by my side. Whenever I'm broken, you make me feel whole. Whenever I'm lonely, you're there for my soul. Wherever you are, girl, that's where I call my own. Whenever you doubt it, I'll be letting you know.
Oh girl, I want to be dancing with you forever.
Hey.
You say to the storm and you take me as I am.
That is a jazz.
It's coffee.
Girl, it's magic.
It's a Friday.
Boy, it's magic.
I mean, from Nigeria to the world.
Absolutely.
To the world.
Now, speaking about women killing it on the field, this week as well, Nigeria's Super Falcons were celebrated in a presidential dinner for their incredible win against Morocco by the country's president, Tinubu. Now, it also featured performances, not what people don't know, by some of the country's biggest stars, from Tenny Entertainer to Flavor, Timi Dakolo, Fido. It brought the party, of course, the celebration to the party, and I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is a great time for women, not only in music and sports, and of course, you know, Afrobeats as well.
Afrobeats.
And you know why I will never forget this particular win of the Super Falcons, because it happened on my birthday. So every year, I remember on the 26th of July, the Super Falcons won against Morocco.
Wow.
Yeah, I always remember.
I love it. Let's keep going. We got more. Nigerian influencer and actress Priscilla Ojo, daughter of course, veteran Nollywood star Iyabo Ojo, has announced her first pregnancy with Tanzanian singer Juma Jux. The couple wed earlier this year. Of course, they did an Islamic ceremony in February in Dar es Salaam, statutory and reception in Lagos by April, and the widely celebrated couple shared the joyful news via maternity shots on Instagram, and that's not all. To celebrate, he also released new music and visuals. They look incredible. This one's called Thank You. Wow. You know the song? Oh, you were just dancing?
Not really. I'm just...
I was going to say this is a cultural exchange.
I've heard it on social media, but I don't think I've heard it enough.
So we've moved from doing photo shoots. I mean, I did photo shoots.
To now shooting music video.
Shooting musical videos.
Absolutely.
You know why? I think
next
that...
I'm moving to movies.
You know why? I think it's absolute business brilliance what they've done. When he got married to Priscilla, they released the song, and before you know it, everybody's stories. So it was not her, Juma.
Yeah.
He released the song for her wedding, for their wedding, one of the weddings during that wedding season. And for all the weddings, you could see people using their songs because their pictures and videos were viral. Right. So it naturally pushed the song. The wedding content naturally pushed the song, even though the song on its own is a very good song.
Right.
But regardless of how good it is, I mean, some of the biggest brands in the world still do adverts. So the wedding did free PR for him, and now he's done this. First of all, congratulations to the happy couple. We're very, very happy for them. And I think that this is just pure business brilliance. I also really liked both of them as a power couple.
Honestly.
Shooting an ad for Nigeria to Tanzania. I thought that whoever came up with that concept is brilliant and deserves to be applauded, because really they've built a bridge between Nigeria and Tanzania by virtue of their marriage, and they couldn't have gotten better ambassadors.
Honestly, this is why we support, stars falling in love with stars, entertainers on entertainers. I love it.
Okay. Do we have any other story?
Of course we do. Now, in Bariga, Lagos State, the Charlie boy bus stop has been officially renamed Bado Bus Stop in honor of rap icon Olamide Adediji, of course known as Bado. Now, the move was part of a broader initiative, to maybe rename roads after artistic legends. However, veteran entertainer Charlie Boy dismissed the gesture, calling it an attempt to erase his grassroots legacy.
My response to that, if you like, when you enter bus, not tell them Charlie Boy. When they carry you past your bus stop, you go realize that you don't reach a co before you know what's in the happen. Yeah, Charlie Boy. First of all, I think people need to go to the reason why that bus stop was named Charlie Boy. You cannot erase the legacy that Charlie Boy made, the impact he made, the people he took out of the streets, people he empowered. It wasn't just because they felt like being fancy that they named it after him. They named it after him because he made a whole world of impact in there. Right. So I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. It can change on paper, but in practicality of it,
forever remain.
You can't really change. Just like those who want to pass, say, I'm going to Anthony. Conductor will carry you and pass your bus stop. Antonio. Charlie Boy. There are certain places you can't change.
Anyway, I think this is where we'll call it a wrap. But I like the info that you have someone from To Kill a Monkey live. What time again?
4:30 p.m. You got it. East Central. Don't miss it.
Guys, tune in. East Central, 4:30 p.m. You have one of the lead actors there, funny enough, they're starting to liken him to Denzel Washington.
Yeah, this is the Denzel of Nigeria.
He's
anyway, I'll let you know my feedback
I've never
on
paid
Monday.
attention to him. I think I've seen him once, like decades ago, years ago. But with this, I'm like, where have you been, man?
I will give you my feedback on Monday and you next Friday.
We await.
All right. Thank you, Sam. That's all that we have today. Thank you for joining us this week on Breakfast Central. We're back again on Monday, but for now, we exit. For Jasiri to take over, I am Olive MOD.
I'm Joe Hansen. Join Sam Dandy, 4:30. They have a guest from To Kill a Monkey, the biggest movie in town right now. I'm sounding like I'm doing entertainment.
Au revoir.
Thanks for watching. Bye. Au revoir.